but this is tough at the moment. As I say, when I went to have a little look this morning with your good self, there are just little indentations on a goodish length on this pitch. As over the wicket comes Petman once again, and Reifer, good looking shot, drives into the covers, won't get a run, doesn't beat the infield as the throw is whistled in over the top of the stumps. Liam Patterson White there diving away at cover.
Fair to say, I think, that Notts aren't going to get any help from Durham today. They're 39 for 4 at Grace Road against Leicestershire. Somerset, who Notts could also do with winning, they're 41 for 2 at Edgbaston. Sussex are 74 without loss against Middlesex.
Petman, right arm over the wicket he comes to Reifer, who's driving thick inside edge from Nico Reifer. Bustles out towards deep backward square. They'll get the single. That'll be one more to the total. 46 on the board now, but 5 down Surrey. And well, we saw it with the dismissal of Ryan Patel. Brett Hutton went past his inside edge, his outside edge, and then got one to keep a little low on him when he went to pull. And then the very next over, probably same length, went to pull, and it got up on him, top edge, and caught by Petman. As Petman is in, here goes Laws using his feet to get to the length of that one, turns it into the leg side. Hamid is up to do the fielding, and there is no run. But away to our left at the moment, some blue sky and white fluffy cloud. Above us, some darker cloud as well. So as I say, I think for Hamid, that catch he put down, as it went up in the air, the sun wasn't out. And then the sun did come out, and a white ball coming out the sun, never easy. Toby Petman is into Tom Laws, and Laws forward just straightens up a touch on him. Plays this back up the pitch, and Petman bends down and picks up, and there's no run.
Probably going to say a completely stupid thing today, but it's never stopped me before. I mean, I was brought up in a little village not too far away from here, and it's the sort of sky you do get in this in this part of the world. It's it's hazy. Very often you saw days a inland course.
5 or come back for 2. No, Patterson White with the throw. And Tom Laws tells Nico Reifer to stay exactly where he is. So ended the over, tidy one from Petman, 14 gone. And Surrey in a spot of bother here at Welbeck, 47 for 5, having been put in by Mr. Hamid. It's difficult to know what a good score on this will be, to be fair. I think it will keep doing something all day. I can't see it changing very much.
No, I need a few more. Right now, though, there's enough rounders to loot the atmosphere of past stations and things like that. We have got plenty of pylons. Those that love their countryside might be a little offended at all the pylons, as this is nicely played through the offside. Might just be dragged back. It will indeed. That's Ben Slater out there. I think first time we've mentioned Slater. Keeps them to 2, 49 for 5 Surrey. A couple of runs taken by Tom Laws.
I like the way Tom Laws is going about this. He's trying to use his feet. He's trying to knock him off a length. He's not just going to let Patterson bowl away at him here, I don't think.
Here goes the former South African international. Bowls. Next one is punched to Brett Hutton. Wide-ish mid-off position. Sliding stop. Smattering of applause from Mr. Church, nobody else, as the Surrey 50 is reached. You follow the international scene closely. When's the next test start, Mark? Do you know?
I know it's at Old Trafford. Is it the end of this week?
I think it's the end
Back
of the week.
End of the week, isn't it?
I don't know if it's Thursday or
I'm still
Friday.
getting my head around the 3-day test at Lords.
Well, yeah. Just with Patterson walking back here to that, this one for lovely Patterson into the show. He actually admitted he was very surprised at how it out.
Yeah, I don't think I was, in the fact that England had absolutely no practice whatsoever going into a test match against a very good attack that had a practice match the week before. So I don't think it was a huge surprise. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens at Old Trafford.
Yeah, it starts on Thursday.
Thursday, is it? Yeah.
Thursday. Yes. Liam Patterson White, a member of that England Lions side that defeated South Africa. Nice looking drive, square of the wicket on the offside. Sol Buddinger doing the fielding. Notts in the all green with the gold names and numbers and the pipings. Surrey in all dark, very bright names and numbers. They stand out clearly, those white numbers. Little bit of the pale blue as well in the epaulets.
Official title, Duck Egg. For you there, Mr. Bracegirdle.
Duck Egg.
Duck Egg is the
Beautiful.
official title.
Next delivery is driven again into the offside. It bounces awkwardly up for Ben Slater. Spears it back into the...
And that a new link road for
Shaded up.
Totem won't include a connection.
The lovely ladies we met in the cake tent, 3 of them who've made all the cakes, have got some backup in spares because the ones we saw will go very quickly, I would have thought. Amazing, different cakes.
Did you spot a favourite?
Cool.
Petman, passed on by Anthony Harris. Bowles, nice push away by Reifer into the covers, fielded by Budinger. It's the end of the 16th over, 55 for 5.
I have to admit, all of them,
they
all look good. There was a gentleman outside, because we wandered in there probably about 10:15, didn't we, to have a look? There was a gentleman outside when I walked out, already sat there with a massive slice of chocolate cake. And I said, if you don't peak too early, He said, I'm going to have one slice per session. Which I thought was quite a good way of looking at it, really. And I said, does that include lunch break? And he went, yes. So that's quite a good way of doing it.
Yeah.
Patterson, whether he sticks to just one flavour, because he's got a number to choose from. Laws on strike, 16th over. Patterson right arm over the wicket to Tom Laws, and Laws drives back up the pitch, and it's nicely timed. It gets into the turf and up and over the top of Patterson and runs away down the ground and away for 4. So nicely played again by Tom Laws. He'll move on to 16. Surrey moving on to 59 for 5. He really shouldn't still be out there, Tom Laws, but you need a bit of luck in these circumstances with a pitch that is moving around against a very good attack. He's had his moment of luck, and what he'll look to do is try and cash in now. And maybe just be hard to see the back of him very quick. Patterson is over the wicket to Laws. That's a nice look again, driving out towards Slater in the covers. And there is no run. Yeah, there's some nice places to watch the game from. And the other great thing about this ground is wherever you are situated, you've got a good view of the ground. So you are involved in the game because obviously the spectators very close to the boundary rope, or if they're up on the bank, they're up on high having a watch. Looks as if Liam Patterson-White's getting warmed up away at deep backward square as Patterson is over the wicket to Laws. He wants a quick single here, and there's a throw from Hamid. He's really playing with Hamid at the moment. Here's Tom Laws. Doesn't hit Hamid, and Laws is through for the single. So Hamid and Laws are having their own little battle, which they will when Hamid gets out there with the bat against Tom Laws. 60 for 5. Tom Laws has moved on to 17. That brings Nico Reifer back onto strike once again. And of course, in this situation, even though we're in the 17th over, still 2 slips in there for Reifer on 7. Patterson is over the wicket to Reifer, and Reifer backs away and cuts this one out towards the sweeper on the cover boundary rope. They'll take another single. That'll move Nico Reifer on to 8, and Surrey move on to 60 for 5. Strangely to say when the ball's jagging around like this, but this might actually be a situation that Nico Reifer quite enjoys, in the fact that he takes a little bit of time to get going. Once he gets going, he's got all the shots in his locker, but just needs a bit of time to get going. He's got plenty of it today. Tom Laws back onto strike as Patterson is over the wicket to Laws and beats him on the outside. Lovely bit of bowling from Dane Patterson. Tom Laws again just looking to use his feet to get to the pitch of that, but just nipping away from him and bouncing. Nice bit of bowling from Patterson.
I should say thank you to Marcus Hogg, who we both know, cricket statistician, journalist, broadcaster, all-round good egg, for sending some stats across. Thank you very much, Marcus.
Yeah, they're terrific stats.
Yeah.
Over the wicket once again comes Patterson, driving his Laws. Lovely shot from Tom Laws. Has just leant on this, got to the pitch of it again, and has driven that away through the covers. So sprightly stuff this from Tom Laws. 21 he moves on to, end of the 17th, and Surrey 65 for 5.
Yeah, they've still got an awful lot of paddling to do, but they're just out of some of the deeper water right now with this partnership. Obviously we do plenty of research going into these matches, but I'll just read from Marcus's lines. It's been 44 list day or one-day meetings between Surrey and Notts over the years. Surrey have won 19, Notts 23, and a total of 8 have been weather affected. 6 totally abandoned, 2 no results. In Nottinghamshire, or Notts have hosted 20 games before this one, and Notts lead 11-8. They completed games. Looks as if Liam Patterson-White's going to come on. Of course, there was he's got one in the neutral venue column. That was the 2017 Royal London One Day Cup final at Lords, which I have to say, for a large part of it, I thought Mark Stoneman's 144 not out was going to be too much for Notts, and Surrey would emerge victorious. But then, of course, Alex Hales came back with 187 not out of his own. An extraordinary innings, and Notts won that one. But plenty of meetings up and down the years. Thanks for all the stats there, Marcus. Here's Liam Patterson-White. His first bowl of the day, bowls to Nico Reifer, who chops it out into the offside. That's Sammy King doing the fielding on as a sub. Not sure who's just slipped off for a quiet little comfort break, but Sammy King on the rope in front of the pavilion away to our right as Liam Patterson-White, recent England Lion, bowls one that's just a little short, and this time it's Laws cutting it out to Sammy King.
The interesting thing here will be with those indentations that are in the pitch, they're sort of on a fairly good length and back of a length. So if there is a bit there for the seams, there could be a bit here for Patterson-White.
He's in and bowls and driven by Reifer up to mid-off. There's no run. Just
If he can
a little
just hit
concern mark that it's just getting a little
warm again
in here, so
yep.
I might just have a little bit of a
100%. We've got a fan going here.
There's Patterson-White bowls. Reifer drives it back to the spinner, and there's no run. Just trying to get this in a position where I can at least pop some protection over the
iPad.
here. Yeah.
Maybe put a chair there and rest the iPad on the chair in the shade under the table.
Reifer cuts this out into the offside.
Let's try that.
A single taken. We don't need that particular plug-in at the moment, so next delivery is off an outside edge, and there's going to be runs. There might even be 4 of them. Past Dane Patterson, it runs down over the rope towards us for 4. And useful runs for Surrey. Liam Patterson-White's introduction into the attack, not exactly what Notts were looking for in terms of the number of runs leaked in that particular over.
Can I make a suggestion?
You can, Mark, you can.
Take this case.
It's heavy, watch it.
Oh, it's quite heavy, that
Yeah.
case. Oh, it's a bit like MacGyver, this,
Yep.
live on the radio. Put that on there, then put that on there, then move the chair forward, and then that is in the shade.
That is unbelievable stuff.
Thank you very much.
That really deserved to have been
Thank you.
screened and videoed and
Yep.
shown.
Thank you. Now, all I need to do now is find a chair, and Bob's your uncle.
How to keep your equipment out of the direct sunlight. Here's Dane Patterson. Well, that's Mark's just trying to find something to sit on. Bowls ball that's now pulled away by Laws. Again, I beg your pardon, by Reifer. We'll get these two sorted out. Patterson-White doing the fielding. 73 for 5. Surrey put into bat. Worth 36 for 5. So they've doubled the score with this partnership. Now worth 36. 37, in fact, as the board catches up. We've only got sight of one board away in the distance. The main scoreboard is behind us. We can't see that. It's Patterson. Comes in again to Laws. Bouncer that's gone high over the top. Surely that, yes, and it is called as a no ball by Steve O'Shaughnessy. I was going to say surely that is just too short and bounced too high, and that's exactly how the officials saw it between them.
It'd be interesting to see that again, because I'm not sure quite how short that was. It's just this pitch, as we've been saying, it's got a bit in it, and it just took off, and it just got higher and higher and higher.
You're all right now. You've got your seed. You've got you've got your perch. Hopefully we can. This is taken down the leg side by Schardendorf. Somebody shouted catch. He did catch it, but clearly not off the bat. Must have just been a little brush of the calf.
It doesn't sound an awful lot, but these two now have put on 39. So they've done a pretty good job, really. Surrey were 36 for 5. They've got them up to 75 for 5 now.
A couple of things. Brett Hutton's out of the attack, and of course the ball is getting a little bit softer. Next one. Way runs behind square, but Slate is out. In fact, he'll keep them to 1.
And they'll know how important it is to keep going, because Nick Kimber's had one brilliant innings against Warwickshire. Conor McCur's been very short of runs, and then we're into sort of Matt Dunn and Yusuf Majid. So it's an important partnership, this, between Messrs Laws and Reifer.
There's Patterson. In again. Oh, the previous one was too short. That one definitely should be. Yeah, it is called. So runs coming for Surrey via the extras route. It's banged in far too short.
Yeah, well, it's almost like a trampoline bounce, that, isn't it? It's banged in short, but it's just going vertical, and it's a very good piece of keeping from Schondorf behind the stumps, because he was having to go upwards and it kept going up past him. So very good bit of keeping as well. But Dane Patterson, there are a couple of those in this over.
Yeah, it's a different approach, isn't it? The wickets have all come from balls pitched up, catching the edge. Next delivery, it's a slower one, slammed away for 4. Not entirely sure what he was attempting to do there. It was a slower one, but it just turned into a slow, gentle, wide, loopy full toss, which was absolutely slapped away for 4 runs by Nico Reifer. Crikey, gave that some hammer.
But he did. He saw it very early, and Patterson, the slower ball further up to the bat, but it turned out to be basically a slow full toss. And Nico Reifer absolutely hammered it through the covers for 4.
What's he got by way of response? Patterson bowls, and Reifer, I think, withdrew the bat inside the line. 82 for 5. The end of the over, end of the 19th. This, of course, 50 overs aside. 2 umpires are getting together. Not entirely sure what that's all about. Guess we'll never know. But they're having a little bit of a chat while it's not turn round. It's going to be Liam Patterson-White, despite a fairly expensive opening over from him. He's going to continue from the far end, the spine cop end.
Yeah, and Tom Laws and Nico Reifer having a little natter. Laws 27, Reifer 15. Liam Patterson-White into his 2nd over. Still kept a slip in there again, understandably, with Surrey in trouble. It's Montgomery in there at slip as round the wicket goes Patterson-White to the right-handed Laws, who pushes forward, plays this one straight back up the pitch, and there's no run. Some darker clouds above us now. Just the sun popping in behind the darker clouds for the time being.
Fairly fast moving, though,
Yeah,
aren't they?
there's a bit of a breeze today as Liam Patterson-White, left arm round the wicket he comes, tosses this up, gives that air, forward goes Laws, pushes it out into the covers. Hamid is round to do the fielding, and there's no run. Tom Laws, again here against Patterson-White, won't just let Patterson-White bowl a length to him. He's onto the back foot this time, punching out into the covers. Asif Hamid is across to do the fielding. And again, there's no run. Lovely big clock on the pavilion away to our right-hand side. Terrific pavilion as well. It's got a banqueting hall in it. And there's some posters up. An evening with David Speedy and Bobby Davro.
Bobby Davro's coming.
Yes, indeed. As Tom Laws waits once again. Round the wicket goes Patterson-White, and Laws just opens the face, looking to guide this down to short third. They'll take a single. Ooh, Dane Patterson's had 3 bites at that.
Bar of soap.
And couldn't pick it up cleanly. And they're through for the single. That takes Laws on to 28 and moves Surrey on to 3 for 5.
Yeah, in 2019, Notts played a kip game against Hampshire. Days 2, 3 and 4 were all washed out.
Patterson-White round the wicket to Reifer. Was forward, gets a good stride in here. Pushes this one straight back.
They've been with Phil Tuttle after watching either the second or third day. So Kevin James and myself went and formed, of course. Kevin James at Middlesex, Phil Tufnell. So good night was had by all. He's got the stories now, of course, through obviously his cricket and the jungle and what else? Did
Question
he do?
of
Strictly.
Sport.
Question of Sport,
Yeah.
Strictly. Done it all.
The
Tuffers.
One Show. He's been on the One Show as well. As Nico Reifer waits once more as Patterson-White round the wicket to him. Reifer on the back foot, punches past Asif Hamid down towards long off. They're thinking about 2. Surrey have run hard between the wickets in this competition. Same there. Just getting Hutton round to his left, and then the throw came, but they're back for a couple more. 20 overs, and Surrey just rebuilding as they had to do, obviously. Reifer 17, 28 to Tom Laws, 85 for 5 after 20, but they were in the 12th, 36 for 5.
Brett coming back, I think, for another spell. Yeah, it's a good fun. You'll perhaps have a comedian on. There'll be an auction, a raffle or two, some food and drink, and everybody goes home relatively happy. perhaps with a photograph or an autograph or whatever. So Brett Hutton, 6 overs, 3 for 16 at the start. That was from the far end. Toby Petman, he bowled 6 overs, 2 for 21. Dane Patterson's now 6 overs, none for 36, and Patterson White 2 overs, none for 9. 86 for 5 as Brett Hutton then starts a new spell. Bowling to Tom Laws, who advances towards him and eases it into the offside, and there's no run.
Yes, and I think it makes sense if Hutton is going to come back into the attack with a little partnership developing. Hamid will still have that catch in his mind of Tom Laws, I'm sure. But again, it was a little like this, and then as the ball went in the air, the sun came out. And didn't lay a hand on it, I don't think, at mid-on.
Here's Hutton. In again to Laws, against solidly behind it, and looks to defend. I've seen this with Asiba Mead. He does look to bowl sides out, which obviously is the very idea of what you should be doing in the field. But you know, there's no point really saving bowlers for overs later on if you think you're going to let a few overs dawdle or dwindle by in the middle of the innings. And he certainly went for the throat down at Taunton. Only needed 4 bowlers to bowl Somerset out there. Looks like he's trying to employ the same tactics here as Hutton bowls. This one's hit firmly up to mid-off. Patterson this time does pick it up cleanly. Shies at the stumps. Hope Tom Laws is okay. Whether he's dived for the ground deliberately or whether he sort of lost his footing and stumbled over, I'm not entirely sure, but it went down all of a whoopsie-daisy.
Well, he's basically done a forward roll there into the crease, but he's all right. Brett Hutton there as well, but it's this positive running between. And that would go wrong, but had to die.
Reifer then back on strike 80, Surrey, but into the fade, runs it away on angle of 40 feet. Another single, 80, for 5. Should go to 80. Tom Laws has scored on 29. Not going to favour him today, that's for certain. 54 Leicester, she's doing a little to 67 for 50 against Warwick. And the other in this group is Sussex Middlesex, as Hutton is in bowls. Another push into offside bias, and it's going to push and run. And that's what Nico, I mean, for 5 paces down, so had a cry of no, go back and managed to get back time. At Hove, Sussex on 23 for 1 in 17th against Middlesex, the other games in this group.
Sussex.
They all got a double. Now 87 for 5. Terrific on base. Hutton balls again. Whipped up for 4. 9 picked up and clipped by Tom Laws, who left it to his billing. Hutton's turn wasn't exactly what he would have wanted. Laws to 30. It's 91 for 5. Set after 1, like it is.
It is 21. It's getting a bit easier out there as well. Initial burst was very cool. Just looks to be easier out for Surrey. Been out there a while now. Laws 30-15. Patterson went his second in the iron cop end. Down there. Distance. Left on Rickety comes to Nico Reifer, who's straight back to power. Nico Reifer looking to go through mid-wicket there. Straightened on him a touch. And good shot came out of the ball. That putt is broken. Reifer goes straight. And Surrey 91 for 6. But he's looking to through mid-wicket. Just may have turned a little bit on him. He's straight and a good sharp one ball. Pass 8. So Surrey in trouble again out. 91 for 6. And Nico Reifer gone for 16.
And that is Liam Patterson White's 100th wicket for Notts. He's only played the 2 formats, not played any blast games. Got, I think it's 78 first class and 22 in List A now. But went into this match on 99, so that's his 100. 91 for 6. And sorry, well, they really do need the tail to wag. This should be Nick Kimber, who I'm assuming had a little bit of time with the Notts Academy. I don't know. His brother Louis certainly did. Headed off in direction.
1 innings of note, and that was 84 against Warwick during the Hyde game. 51 balls with 6 fours and 6 sixes. By nature, it's probably the way to hit it, because if Nico Reifer ever loses, I think with Kimber, he's better if he sees it, hit it. That's the way he played. But yes, well done, Liam Patterson White. Someone who was actually nameless amongst the England high. He bumped into him a few weeks ago, Lions game, and he whacked about him. So good to see him in that set as he comes round and Kimber's into the side and there's no run.
Well, he's a remarkable this year because he played in they called them the first defeat England and now Lions that beat South Africa.
With that turn and bounce, and Kimber's played inside that. So there we are, just a turn there from Liam Patterson White as in round the wicket once again goes Patterson White. Forward comes Nick Kimber, plays this one out into the offside, rolls out there towards extra cover, and there's no run. Sun's out again now. Patterson White is into Kimber. Kimber's forward and almost leading edge straight back to Patterson White. But it's what we were talking about. The fact is there's some indentations on this pitch. Now, if you can hit the edge of those, there's been a bit of rain, but it's been a hot old summer this. As Patterson White's in once again, and forward goes Kimber. Gets a good stride in, pushes this one back up the pitch. Very good over that from Liam Patterson White. A wicket maiden. 22 have gone, and Surrey are 91 for 6.
Yes, you may all have heard yesterday that plans have been revealed and confirmed for England to tour Pakistan during the winter. You just wonder how many spinners they'll take out there. Mark, obviously Jack Leach in pole position, but I think Liam knows where he is in the pecking order, because of what happened in the very first test of the summer when Jack Leach had to leave the action at Lords on the first day with concussion. They phoned 2 people up. They couldn't get hold of Matt Parkinson to begin with. They did get hold of Liam, and he was on standby, but then leaving his family barbecue, Matt Parkinson saw all these calls from the ECB and responded. There's Hutton, bowls beginning his 8th over. Played into the offside by Laws. He wanted 2. Nick Kimber says no. Single taken, 92 for 6. So there'll be 1 or 2 young spinners hoping they get an opportunity, but he's got to be sort of up there towards the selectors' 100%. Thoughts by the fact that, as I say, he's been selected this year for the first class counties 11 as the sole spinner against New Zealand, and the Lions last week, or week before last, against South Africa.
100%. There's some talk about Moeen Ali as well, isn't there?
Well, yeah.
But I'm not sure you can pick and choose the tools you want to go on. I'm not sure it really works. Although in the modern world of cricket, I'm not sure what happens these days.
It seems like fair. You can.
It does, which I'm not sure I agree with, to be fair.
So Kimber has taken guard. Going to face Brett Hutton for the first time, and he pushes it towards point, fielded by Sol Budinger. There's no run, no addition to the total. 34 now to Tom Laws, top scorer in this Surrey innings, 92 for 6. Some point, Nasib Ahmed is going to have to turn to a 5th bowler unless wickets just start to tumble very quickly whilst Hutton and Patterson White are bowling in tandem. Here comes Hutton, past umpire O'Shaughnessy. Bowls one that just got big. I think that's okay. I don't think that's going to be called for height as a no ball. I think that was just about nose high.
Good ball. Really good ball from Hutton.
Notts looking for their 5th win in the group of 8. The 3 matches they've lost, they've come up against them form. Both Scully and Sam Robson have got hundreds. James Bracey 100 against them, Gloucestershire, and Woods in the defeat against Warwickshire. So as they play a seed 99. He's 19 down to Leicester. I felt with the punt up, he almost realised what he was doing, going from 99, hit it straight to the field, and never going to be one. They've been between his rights, refused to run and hit the last ball. See it, not to fix time.
Batting the one.
They shot off in at 3. Really worked, used any score, so on today at less. Lyndon James went in at 3. I'm going there again. He's had 1 century and 1 99 not out of things. Skippered this well, popular young man. This Hutton ball's edged, and this time it's none to hand. He's always eyeing, I think, on Lyndon James. Somehow found a gap between him, Montgomery, and
yeah, then that was a chance always come down, but it came back and forth off that foot and big outside and gets right to me. Captain well in this competition. Mighty fine. And the good thing, Ben Gidders has been captaining Surrey an awful lot over the last 3 weeks. Well, to be fair to him.
Andy Selwyn, there's been a lot of famous people in West Ears.
From Barbados as Patterson comes around the wicket to Kim and he'll drive into the offside. We'll get a single towards me. Back through. It's great again from each other.
Too long. that ball.
$100 up for Surrey as well at the end of the 24th over.
Oh, brilliant bit of work there from Singh. Sprinting around, diving full length to his left,
I
keeping
think he's
it
going to get a
inside the
bowl
rope.
as a reward.
He is. He's taking
Another
his
slow
cap
left
off.
armour mark.
Got some good news for the ladies in the tent with their cakes. So I put a tweet out to Matt Lucas of Bake Off, and he's liked the picture. So Mr. Lucas has even been looking at the cakes here at Welbeck.
Well, that's nice.
So there you go. You see, so yeah, they might get a mention on Bake Off.
Has Mr. Butcher been in touch? I wish Mr. Butcher happy birthday.
He's probably busy.
It's a big milestone birthday for Mark Butcher today.
Yes, happy birthday,
Surrey
Mr.
and England
Butcher.
man. Changing the boundary riders in front of us. We've got Lyndon James down here for the first time today as Fatty Singh comes on to bowl. So they could be hitting in our direction. Our small tent is under threat here from Nick Kimber. It's going to be Fatty Singh. It's going to be. Is this your end, Mark Church?
Yes, and coming in left arm round the wicket to Kimber, and Kimber, first ball's back of a length. He's just pushing it straight back up the pitch, and Singh does the fielding off his own bowling.
He's trying to give me a few pronunciation lessons.
He's in once more. Forward goes Kimber, just pushes away into the offside.
He's trying to, the EH on the end, like as if you're saying, what you're saying, fat
Oh, I see.
So,
okay.
Yeah, well, I keep getting it wrong.
Around the wicket he comes again. Kimber's driving. That's just going to potter into the offside. Hamid does the fielding. It's my first look at him, I have to say.
England under-19s went to the under-19 World Cup last March, was it, in the Caribbean?
Yep. Got to the final of that, didn't they? It's a quicker one. It's short and it's cut away by Kimber. Out towards the sweeper on the cover boundary rope. One more to the total. 101 for 6.
Ben Slater out there, he'll find somebody to have a natter to. Likes a natter.
Got plenty of people to talk to over there. Seeing his left arm round the wicket to Laws. Laws pushes this one straight down the ground to Lyndon James. The dive did go in, but absolutely nowhere near. That was
for the coaches, wasn't it?
Just to show that
Sol Buddinger put in a dive and he's nowhere near the ball.
I am drying. Kimber back on to strike as Singh's round the wicket to him. Again, that's too short. That's pulled by Kimber out towards Dickett. He'll get another single there. Might feel he's missed out a touch there. Yeah. End of the over. First one, Mr. Singh. Tidy first over from him. 24 gone, and Surrey are 103 for 6.
You're still keeping going with the scores at the end of the overs. I must admit I gave up after the spilt tea episode earlier on. Absolutely ruined my scorecard. So
there's a lot to contend with for you today. Mr. Brace good here, and this is what I like about as well. This is battling away, getting a bit of a drink break, but they're battling away. At 136 for 5, you'd wonder we're up to 100, but they've done that now. And that's what I've been impressed with. They've never always. The one they touch was against Sussex when Sussex had a huge total, and then fell away in play. But they really stuck in even when they've had a dodge they have today.
88 after 29. Man that I know seen. James 81 not out. Lewis Cole 82 not out. There's not too many players with much experience in the Somerset Sun go on. Maybe it's not going to happen for Durham. Grace Road 60 for 7. It's to Wright, got 6 against Nos, 3 Boulder and 2 to Bjorn Hendricks is back, probably need 46. 7 is as well now. Durham, Leicester, the other game group, Sus 122. Again, Hove after 3 of the men. Allsop 71 it's Fraser, he's not ball closed.
Burn 100, he's like that one captain and lead from the front.
And proud to wear his as well.
Upset.
Photo of it, that his shirt, bright shirt. LPW from the spin cop end. Bowls to Nick Kimber. Just clips it to Buddinger at mid wicket. It doesn't have to dive to stop this one. No way, not the tough. It's probably still 2:30. This one's not to a meet, no run.
Well, we're getting through this quite quickly at the moment, aren't we?
Yeah, and if Patterson White can have a little bit of a prolonged spell in raise his opus and try him, but picking out
It was a good-looking shot, that one.
Pylons disappearing into the distance as far as the eye can see. Big electricity pylons. This one's blocked by Kimber onto the leg side. Budinger fields this time. Montgomery in there at slip. Took the catch that dismissed Ben Geddes to take his 10th catch of the competition. A couple of runs here. Pushed out onto the leg side. Ben Slater missed that to begin with. He needed 2 attempts to get it in at any rate. It's getting warmly applauded by Dane Patterson. As the breeze just picks up a little bit, 105 for 6. Laws on 38, 9 now to Kimber, who moves to 10 with a misfield from the bowler. Marquee at the far end, diagonally or immediately opposite us at the far end, is for the committee members. Hope Surrey have brought a few committee members along just to enjoy their day out. End of that over, 26 gone, 106 for 6 Surrey. Bit of a drive and a bit of a trek to North Nottinghamshire.
Well,
you came up yesterday.
I came up yesterday.
Where did you stay? On an industrial site
yes, it
somewhere?
was an industrial site 10 miles away. So I just put the postcode in and ended up there. And yes, I went for a walk this morning around the business park area. Had a lake, I can tell you that much, the business park. It had a lake. But yeah, about a half-hour drive to here this morning. Traffic wasn't too bad at all. And it's a lovely ground, this. It really is. You do feel like you're in the middle of the countryside.
Well, that's it. We communicated yesterday. You said, what's it like? I said, it's a field in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
so
it's great.
I wasn't over-egging it, was I?
Sing. Left down around the wicket, he comes to Kimber, and Kimber pushes him off the back foot. This is the start of the 26th over for Surrey. And Nottinghamshire winning the toss, putting Surrey in. And in trouble early this morning, Surrey, as Singh is in again. And here's Kimber backing away, pulling into the leg sides. Good stop in there again.
We've had some players here in the not too distant past. Paul Johnson was director of cricket for a couple of years.
Singh's in once more. Oh, and that one, he's almost yorked himself. Good bit of bowling, because Kimber came down the pitch, saw him coming, fired it in at his toes, and he's managed to get the bat down on that as Nick Kimber. He gets a single into the offside. Yes, I saw a sort of cartoon pencil caricature of Mr. Johnson in the pavilion.
Yeah, he had a successful couple of years here.
Around the wicket again goes Singh to Laws, and Laws turns one off his pads down towards short fine. Petman is up to do the fielding.
In his time here, he had Tom Longley, who I'm not sure he plays at all now, first class umpire, but he had him opening the bowling, and Kirk Edwards, the West Indian, opening the batting.
That's not bad. Forward goes Laws, outside edge, leading edge, into the offside. Just trying to work that one into the leg side. So obviously a little bit of turn there for Singh. And he'll get another single here, will Tom Laws. Moves on to 39. Back onto strike comes the right-handed Kimber on 11. Singh's round the wicket to Kimber. Back way, pulls this straight up in the air, but lands. So he's got away with Kimber. Go back to it. Linda James came in off the boundary to get to it. Hasiba Mead went for it, and it landed in between the three of them. And he gets a single. He moves on to 12. End of the over, 26 gone. And Surrey are 109 for 6.
Yeah, good to see the enthusiasm. The worst possible thing is that it can land between three of them and nobody tries, but they were all desperate. Will always ample. I've had a great time of it today with dropping out of the sky. Put one. You've got to see one down with a hand on it. Taking it completely. And white. Forces this in the offside. Takes a single. I think he's London-based. Anthony Harris. Second time Notts have had him in the Royal London One Day Cup. I don't know if he's done any Surrey games before.
I think he has.
We had Sue Redfern at Grantham last week, officiating for the first time in men's competition cricket, or county. This is push-line class game, what I mean. Tully, first class it is. Red, it's funny though, to use all the for with Judy Tunt. Nelson or not, get your feet.
Yes. I don't believe in that sort of thing. No.
See, now I'd have thought, you know, possibly it's a season to the offside that people get the wrong impression of you. I think that you are just a little bit eccentric, superstitious. All into
Yeah.
but not
No, never been really.
Played by Kimber down the ground nicely, showed the full face of the bat, as they say, down to long on for a single.
Try to avoid walking under ladders.
See, you are
That's just from a health and safety point
Well,
of view,
yeah,
though, rather than anything superstitious.
That's not a way to go, is it, really? Is it?
Oh, no,
Something
you never
falling.
know what's on top of the ladder.
No. 112 for 6, Surrey. Trying to get up to something that they'll feel would be defendable. Probably need to double this, as this next one's blocked. Laws and Kimber at the crease at the moment. Two tall right-handers. Liam Patterson White, slow left arm, bowls. Laws, little push into the offside, almost sold his mate a hospital pass there, because hit it straight to the fielder, who's Matt Montgomery, who's come out of the slip cordon for the first time in the match. 112 for 6 at the end of the 29th.
Yeah, and you just wonder, with Laws on 40 now, well, I'm not sure. Well, you can call it a chance for Hamid, but as you say, he didn't actually lay a hand on it. Laws wasn't on that many, actually, when that went straight up in the air, and he's got himself to 40. But as I say, what I like about this young Surrey side is they always stick in the game. They really do.
In fact, it had gone on, Mark. Sorry, it's the end of the 28th. So this is the 29th.
Yes, 28 gone with 112 on the board. So hard work this for Surrey. Singh in his sunglasses will continue, coming left arm round the wicket, and Kimber's using his feet, tucks this one into the leg side. Again, they'll hustle for 2, and they will get 2 as Lyndon James comes round to do the fielding.
It was at this stage at Grace Road on Saturday in the 29th over when one of the fielders pointed out that there was a hole in the ground and there was water.
I was going to ask you about this.
Coming up.
I saw that on
Twitter.
Twitter.
A bit of a sinkhole.
Yes, I saw that. As Singh comes left arm round the wicket to Kimber, who's backing away, punching into the offside. We'll get a single down towards long off. He moves on to 17, 115 now for 6. How long was the delay for?
40 minutes.
40-minute delay, and it was a little sinkhole, was it? Or quite a big sinkhole?
I think it's underneath. It was where one of the sprinklers pops out from, and it started leaking out at quite a rate.
Singh is in, and this is tucked into the leg side by Tom Laws. Again, using his feet. It wasn't quite to the pitch of that. More thick inside edge, really, than anything. But he gets a single. And that will move Tom Laws on to 41. Surrey move on to 116 for 6. Yes, I saw a few pictures of players and umpires looking at a hole. As here is, Kimber, and he's almost yorked by Singh. That's a lovely piece of bowling. Just got it to dip on Kimber as he was coming down the pitch and looking for the big drive down the ground. Gets a bottom edge on that, but that's nicely bowled by Singh.
Yes, there was a few perhaps unkind council workman references.
Round the wicket once again goes Singh. That's short, and that's cut by Laws. Good looking shot this from Tom Laws. That's going to go for 4. Nicely played by Tom Laws. It's just rocked onto the back foot, then cut it away through extra cover. And Tom Laws will move on to 45. Very good innings this. 121 for 6 now, sorry.
Yes, I think they should have, it was always going to be a lengthy delay whilst they turned it off, dried it out.
It's stumping chance. Thought he'd gone. Big stumping chance there. Not taken cleanly by Sharondorf behind the stumps. That's a big chance again to get rid of Tom Laws. Lovely bit of bowling from Singh. Got it to turn and bounce, and Laws driving. Lost his balance completely, but Sharondorf couldn't take it cleanly. So another life for Tom Laws. And on 45, end of the over. 29 gone, 121 for 6.
So unlike Dane Sharondorf, is such an accomplished keeper, a silky smooth gloveman, rarely makes that sort of error. Almost had too much time as Laws danced down the track towards Singh, beaten by either flight or turn or a combination of both. We're not in line, can't really tell if it did turn too much off the straight, but should doubly have turned up. Get 6 for 12. It was 9. Nico Reifer. Laws is safe to injured. Through.
Positive running, sorry.
Patterson bowling. Kimber pushes it back nice. By Elb. through. Let it just move his left, kept to one.
Have you cemetery? P gets an LBW?
Many,
9, yeah.
many
It
times.
rolls off the tongue, that.
Next one, it's dropped on the legs. A lot of LBWs. The look is on his round. The next day or two, how is just have been LB was cut away or a call by Outlaws. By
He's rushing again here towards Cage Ellis, but he's for 6. So he's holding this from a side view. He's very positive he hit the ring, the wicket, no, he knows straight away he's using it, not in just a length. Nick has moved on to 20, so a good part from these two now. Kim waits over that, same with the first over, will get up on so nudges towards deep wicket. Oh dear, well, a bit of a misfield out there at deep mid wicket. It's not easy, bobbly old outfield. I think if Kimber had actually hustled the first, he could have probably got back for a second there. As wickety Law tucks him away, fine leg side, and this will be Tom Law's 50th this competition, and he's really run away down to the boundary. What's Tom Law's again? As I say, 4th consecutive 50 in the competition, and Surrey are 131 for 6. Tom Laws has moved on to 52.
Yeah, forget the 2 long, make your own. He's gone out there with a positive approach, with plenty of intent, play nicely, and not could do with before he really starts to hurt them. Serious man, 52 out of 131 for 6. I think coming in at 7 might just suit him. The early damage had been done. Brett Hutton and Toby Petman just coming to the end of their opening burst. Came in the 12th over, so out of that initial power play, 1 or 2 fielders just started to be dropped back a little bit.
I just like his maturity for a kid of 18. Singh round the wicket he comes. Now he's paddle sweeping. Well played. Very well played by Tom Laws. Down towards fine leg it goes. Petman's on the chase. Petman flicks it back inside the rope. They'll get back for 3. But good batting again from Tom Laws. Just that little paddle down towards fine leg. He moves on to 55. Surrey move on to 134 for 6.
I do feel a little sorry for some of the players that we've seen over the last month. You know, effectively might be the last we'll see of them in first team cricket until the same competition next year. If we do get this competition next year, nobody really knows what the structure or the format of the 2023 campaign is going to be just yet. But a lot of players who've obviously been used to pulling on the first team shirt and going out there and performing might just have to return to second 11 and club cricket for a while.
Round the wicket once again goes Singh. This time to Kimber, who's swinging him high in the air. Now Lyndon James, I don't think he'll get round to this, to catch it, but he will get round to it. 1 bounce inside the boundary rope to our right-hand side. So the first time that Kimber's opened up the shoulders. Didn't really get hold of it, but he moves on to 23. 136 for 6.
Yes, if you're going to hoist it in the deep, he picked a fairly safe area, didn't he, between 2 fielders?
Here we Singh again. He's driving this time. Digs it out really as much as anything, and we'll get a single, will Nick Kimber? Scrambles through for 1 more. And Kimber will keep the strike. So again, goodish over for Surrey. There was 11 off that one, so 31 have gone. Surrey fighting away here. 131 for 6 with Tom Laws on 55 and Nick Kimber on 24. And this partnership now worth 46.
Yeah. I think another over should go on the board. No, we're right. It is 30 overs. Well, they talk about doubling the score, don't they, after 30, but not usually 6 wickets down when that happens. But if they could bat through until the end here, they can certainly get towards 250 or so, as the 31st over begins with a leg side wide from Fateh Singh, taken by Shardendorf. 1 more to the total. 138 for 6. Here's Singh running between the umpire and the stumps. Bowls cut away forcefully into the offside. Work for Slater to do, he can't get there. The ball will just thud into the advertising boards and will have to be thrown back. Spectator lobs it to Ben Slater. He rolls it back. Nice looking shot indeed.
Sorry, Mr. Brosky, I've absolutely stuffed you out of sight there. Because I said that was the end of the over. There were still 2 balls to go. There was still a ball to go. Then it was a wide.
Yeah.
So that is 31 done now. I was getting very confused there. And 142 for 6. So that was the 31st.
Yeah, I thought that was a quick over.
Yeah, it was. That's what it's 2 ball overs now.
Toby Petman starting to loosen up. I wonder if he's going to come back to replace Singh for the next over. But here's Patterson White from the far end of the ground. Bowls, and that's good work by Schardendorf. This time did whip a bail off. It was an appeal, but umpire O'Shaughnessy said not out. Played for Lancashire and Worcestershire in his time, didn't he, Steve O'Shaughnessy?
Didn't he hold the record for the fastest 100?
I was just going to say, I don't know if it was balls or time, but I think it was a declaration job, wasn't it? As Patterson White bowls chopped away into the offside for a single, in case you're wondering what we're on about. I think back in the day it might even have been 3-day cricket, might have been a 4-day match, but certainly there was a time when the sides would often come to some sort of agreement. Doesn't happen much nowadays. Right, we'll let you get so and so runs, so we will agree to chase whatever it might be. 300 from 60 overs, so bowlers would serve up a little bit of tosh for the batters to score some quick runs. Next delivery on its way now, and played into the offside by Laws. Hamid Fields, no run.
Yes, I remember seeing Nick Knight do that against Surrey. Just threw a few up to him and he whacked him out the park.
143 for 6. As Patterson White bowls to Laws, eases it into the offside. We didn't have that in the match against Middlesex at Trent Bridge early in the season, but it was always going to be a last day draw, and Notts went through the complete 11, everybody getting a bowl. This is driven back to the bowler, including the taking of the second new ball by Messrs Duckett and Clark, Ben Duckett and Joe Clark, and the only wicket that fell in the day was taken by Ben Duckett, getting rid of Sam Robson for 100, caught behind.
Yeah,
extraordinary day.
Can happen that. I remember seeing Graham Thorpe and Ian Ward bowling from the coil position for about an hour.
Bring bees and other wildlife back to the city stretch of the Nottingham to
for a while. Forgot about the rendezvous in the rain. Watching the trains go over is it a viaduct?
There's a viaduct there,
Yeah.
yes, indeed.
Yes. Toby Petman bowling, pulled away into the leg side, cries of catch. It's going to fall short of Budinger, and as he runs in trying to take it on the bounce, unable to take it cleanly at the first time of asking. We had a former Prime Minister there watching that match that day, last year. And
Oh yes, Sir John was there, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Sir John Major was there, indeed. And that was the game where, of course, as you mentioned, Ryan Patel sort of went in at the rain break, one not out off, I think it was 10 balls, and was then out for 130 off about 60.
Yeah.
Just came out after the rain break, went mad.
Jamie Smith 50 off 20 or 30 as well as Petman bowls, cut into the offside. And there's a single, it'll be just a single. Ooh. Good work out there by Slater. Yeah, you and one or two others were just passing the time of day downstairs at the back of the stand, and I thought,
well, I was just stood there, really.
I thought, I've got better things to be doing. I'll go and have a cup of tea. And then when you came back with a big smile on your face, guess who I've been talking to?
Well, I say talking. I sort of said good morning. That was about it, really.
145 for 6. Next delivery. Again, pushed out into that offside towards Slater. They've not been totally convincing of their calling and running this pair, but they ease back for a second. And Mark's highest snooker break up there on the board now, 147.
Yes, in my dreams.
147 for 6.
I think I did once pot a red and a black on a proper full-size table.
And meant to do it.
Well, absolutely, but they're big old things, the old full-size snooker tables. You almost need a sat-nav to get up the other end. So
yeah, they're bigger than they look on telly.
Yeah, 100. Yeah, really, really big. So Tom Law's here 60 not out. That's equalled his best in list day. But as I say, this is his 4th consecutive 50, which is very impressive from the young man.
Yeah.
Nick Kimber's got himself a start. He's on 28. It's just, can these two keep going? We have got 17 overs remaining. We've got Liam Patterson-White continuing to bowl. And this will be his 9th over, coming round the wicket. And this one's whipped into the leg side. That's a lovely shot from Tom Laws. And my apologies, it's Singh actually who's coming in to bowl his left arm spin. So he's into the attack to replace Patterson-White, and he's greeted by Tom Laws with a whip through the leg side for 4. And that now is his highest list day score. Tom Laws on to 64, not out. Very impressive innings this. And 150 coming up for Surrey, 151 for 6. So Singh, left arm round the wicket he comes. Laws backs away and cuts out towards the sweeper on the cover boundary rope in front of the pavilion. And lots of spectators. And they'll take another single. This will move Laws on to 65, 152 for 6. And a very good partnership from these two is now worth 61 valuable runs. They were 91 for 6 when Reifer went. As Singh is in, and Kimber's gone down the ground, up and over the top. Hasn't really got hold of this. Should get 2 down towards long off, and will get 2 down to long off. He's on to 30, 154 for 6.
Brett Hutton just out there in the deep, just in front of the media tent.
Again, though, what I like about this is the way Surrey are just sticking in this game at the moment. Singh is round the wicket to Kimber, and Kimber backs away and punches into the offside, and he gets half a hand on that, I think. Takes a bit of pace off it. Patterson-White round to do the fielding, sweeping on that cover boundary rope, gets the throw in, but that's 2 more to Nick Kimber. He's on to 32, 156 for 6. So Kimber's playing a good hand here on 32. Reined himself in a touch as Singh is in. Here he goes down the pitch and whips this one down towards long on. I'll take another single. Kimber will move on to 33, 157 for 6. Lovely day now.
It is.
Blue sky above us, sun's out. Good crowd in. Good fight back from Surrey. They were at one point 36 for 5, Surrey, in the 12th over as Singh is in. Laws just nudges this one into the leg side. That'll roll in towards short mid-wicket. There is no run, so they've got 16 overs left, Surrey. 34 have gone, and 10 off that over from Singh. And Surrey are 157 for 6.
A little bit on this game for Notts. Remember that it is still mathematically possible they could make the knockouts. In order to do that, they'd have to win this game and then need 2 of the following 3. It's playing Middlesex at home, 6 to win, 55 for 2 after 30 overs. Also 81 Nottinghamshire, 31 out, so it's handily happen. But at Grace Road, where Durham 97 against Leicester after 29 over. Notts would need Durham to win, or potentially would need them to win as Petman stop over with a dot ball. It's just pushed gently up to mid-on to Lyndon James. But Somerset 134 for 2 at Edgbaston against Warwickshire in the 34th over. Ruined Goldsworthy still going along nicely there, so potentially Notts would at the moment be looking obviously to try and win this game themselves, and then be rooting very much for Sussex to beat Middlesex and somehow Somerset to win their first game of the campaign against Warwickshire. This one's it up in the air down to third man on the bounce, didn't carry on the full to Dane Patterson. Thickish outside edge there from the big figure that is Nick Kimber. I don't mean that disrespectful. He's a solid young man, quite tall. Perhaps getting the slightly wrong impression as he stood right now alongside umpire Steve O'Shaughnessy, but he makes 2 of him, doesn't he?
Oh, he's a big lad, Nick Kimber.
There's Toby Petman. In again, bowls, and this is slammed down the ground. Will it be a maximum? It will. Is that the first of the day, Mark?
It is indeed.
It is indeed, yeah. Massive blow by Tom Laws. A 6 over deep mid-wicket. Old-fashioned cow corner, but there was nothing agricultural about that. It was a clean pick-up, deposited the ball over the ropes and in amongst the spectators to our right.
Well, the great thing about Tom Laws is his batting got better every game. Better and better and better and better. And yeah, he's had a couple of lives in this innings, but you know, he's now on to 71 in a situation where Surrey needed something from somewhere. And he's impressed everybody this season. Came into the championship side, really wickets as much as anything with his bowling, but with his batting as well. As I say, in each game of this competition, he's just got better and better and better with the bat.
Good from Brett Hutton, I'll tell you in a second, as Petman is in. Next one's cut away, and that'll be a boundary. 10 from 2. Brett Hutton just went across, had an arm round Toby Petman, had a word, offering some advice. Whatever it was, Petman bowled it outside the off stump and it was cut away for 4.
Yeah.
But it's still nice to see one of the seniors having a word with one of the younger
brilliant
bowlers.
From Brett Hutton. It reminded me a bit with my daughter when I say no more chocolate biscuits. Yes, Daddy, and then goes straight back in and there's another one.
168 for 6. Can't see. Lyndon James in the way.
Oh.
This one is it into the offside. Should be taken and is. And that is the end of Tom Laws. Can't believe what he's done. He's holding his bat above his head in frustration and walks off now with it behind his arms, almost like he's got to do some sort of punishment as he makes his way off the field. Wicket for Toby Petman. He went for 6, he went for 4, but then he got his man. And that's a very fine innings, which has come to probably a premature end. He's gone for 75. Had a couple of lives, but certainly he feels right now he's left a few out there. There's a century up for the taking. 168 for 7.
Well, he was trying to work it leg side again, and I think a good bit of bowling from Petman. I think just held it back, leading edge. It just flew straight up in the air, and Tom Laws had that horrible thing of knowing what was going to happen. He'd already had his 2 moments of luck, and he wasn't third time lucky. But great innings. He'll be devastated in the fact that, you know, he still had plenty of time to bat to get towards 100. But again, fine innings from him, but that's a big wicket at this stage. If Laws had stayed there, so he could have been up around that 250 mark. Now, Notts will just look to finish this off as quick as possible. Conor McCurr can bat. It's been short of runs in this competition, but can bat. And then it's Matt Dunn and Yusuf Majid.
Just try and confirm the catcher for you as soon as I can. May well have been another one for Montgomery. Deepish backward point position. Just clarify that for you for a second. Montgomery's gone into slip for the new man, which doesn't help. I was just hoping whoever it was had had gone there, but I think it was Montgomery, but we'll check. 168 for 7, but it's a third wicket for Toby Petman. Everyone's a bonus now. Career best, whatever happens. Never taken a wicket for Notts before today. He's now got 3. New man is Conor McCurr, and he's away first ball, just easing it through that now vacant backward point position. So he's up and running. 169 for 7.
Yeah, and it's been good from Petman today. 6 and a 4, but then comes back and gets his wicket and gets his man.
Yeah, it's confirmed on all the scorecards I'm looking at. Matt Montgomery, so he's on to 11 catches
there
now.
We go, the golden glove. it's coming his way, isn't it? The big golden glove to hang on the mantelpiece. But no,
I agree with you, they should have one.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. So it's going to be Singh to continue, but yeah, very good innings that from Tom Laws. 75 from him, 169 for 7. So Conor McCurr on the strike on 1, having joined Nick Kimber, who's still there on 34. So this is as much about trying to keep Kimber company, because we saw the damage he can do against Warwick. Singh left arm around the wicket, McCurr just pushing off the back foot out into the offside, and there's no run. Wind's got up, bustling the side of our excellent tent here. It really is. I think it's one of these clever tents as well that might retain heat, as this one's turned by Conor McCurr out into the leg side, and there's no run. It's like one of those tents you see in sort of sci-fi films where they land on a planet and it's what they live in. It's round the wicket once again goes Singh, and Conor McCurr tucks him into the leg side. Quick singles taken. That's good running from McCurr and Kimber. That will move McCurr onto 2, bring Kimber back onto strike on 34, and Surrey will move on to 170 for 7. As Nick Kimber, 34 not out. Singh left arm round the wicket to him. That's bounced off a goodish length. That's well played by Nick Kimber. Tall man, so he can get a long way forward. And Nick Kimber. Again, that breeze just picking up all the time at the moment. As just checks the leg side, does Kimber. That's where he wants to go, as he's up on his toes, pushing this one into the leg side. But of course, with the left arm spinner taking the ball away from him, he's going to have to reach for it if he does want to go leg side. It's a fairly short leg side boundary. In fact, they're fairly short boundaries here at Welbeck. Oh, he's bowled by Singh. That's a lovely bit of bowling, because he's laid back to cut, and that's the one that just goes on with the arm. That's a super piece of bowling from Singh. And Nick Kimber goes for 34, and Surrey are 170 for 8. But that's a fantastic piece of bowling from Singh, because, as I say, he's stopped delivery coming right. It's going to go away. That one, he's just low on with the arm. He's gone back to cut, and then he'd have had a whole moment, Kimber, where he'd have thought, uh-oh. And I wonder if he may have even got a little bottom edge on it.
Maybe.
But bowled, and Surrey are 170 for 8.
Hurried onto him, didn't it? That's a real shame for Nick Kimber, who drags himself off. First wicket for Singh. Long old partnership, not up for best part of an hour, then gets him back-to-back overs. Not well believe that not the 40 overs hours coming to the creases. Matt Dunn.
Well, he's in his normal position, Matt Dunn. One innings of real note, that 34 against Warwickshire from 19 balls with 2 4s and 2 6s. Then got promoted up to 9 from his customary 10, 0. So back in his normal position now is Mr. Dunn. I think he did actually describe to me, he said, I got a bit giddy when I got to 9. So he's back out at 10. But that was a lovely piece of bowling from Singh. And that was the last ball of the over. So 36 have gone now. And Surrey are 170 for 8.
Well, again, bat for almost as long as he wants. Still left, Matt Dunn. He's at the non-strike end. Conor McCurr with a couple of runs to his name. Toby Petman beginning his 9th. Perhaps there's a night for him. He's got 3 wickets now. Bowls to McCurr. Drives up to Brett Hutton mid-off, no run.
He's got a chance, hasn't he? He really has, Toby Petman. I was saying to you that I many years ago, because he's a young man, went to the same school as Mr. Petman. And the first time I met him was via a Zoom thing where we were asked to do a careers evening where he talked about playing first-class cricket, and as I said to you, I just talked a load of rubbish. But lovely fella.
Must be Oxford University you're talking about. He's in and bowls now, driven into the offside, and Mead will do the fielding.
Cheeky. So, no, I didn't get to Oxford.
Didn't you go to Oxford?
No. I almost didn't go anywhere when my predictions came through, I have to say. But, no, he's a highly intelligent lad, and you can see it in his bowling as well. I think he's one of those that the more he plays, the better he'll get.
Yeah.
He'll learn quickly.
Yeah. Good attitude. He's had to wait. Been on the staff. This is his second year on the staff when he made his debut on Saturday. He might get another one here. Brett Hutton with the catch. And Petman's got 4. That's a tame end, really, for Conor McCurry. He's just pushed at that one, and it's flown a long way to Brett Hutton. Wide-ish mid-off. And 3 wickets have gone down. Just like that. Crash, bang, wallop. 170 for 9. Conor McCurry caught by Brett Hutton from the bowling of Toby Petman. Surrey on the brink at 170 for 9. He made just a couple of runs, McCurry.
He's just going through a patch, Conor McCurry, that every time he tries to play a shot, he seems to pick out the fielder. But Petman on a 4 for here. And just getting back to what I was saying, he was in the same school team as Zach Crawley and Ben Earl. Ben Earl, obviously, Saracen and England flanker, and Zach Crawley, England opener. But I think at school, he wasn't the one that was being talked about, really. But, you know, he's on 4 here. 5 for here. Excellent stuff.
Yeah. Really would be.
He's bowled very nicely, hasn't he? He's just used the conditions very well.
He's got probably 2 or 3 balls left in this over, and then 1 more over after that.
Do you know who he reminds me of a touch? And this is a massive comparison very early on in his career. But the way he goes about everything and his demeanour at times. Angus Fraser. Sort of that little trudge back and hits a good length.
He stands at the end of his mark, a bit like Big George at Derbyshire, George Scrimshaw, with the legs apart.
Hasn't got the moustache though, has he?
No.
I saw that last night on the telly while I was trying to eat my burger. Magnificent moustache he's sporting, Mr. Scrimshaw.
Big George.
Possibly have a health warning coming with it, because it looks like it's got a life of its own, to be fair.
So another young man I'm seeing for the first time, Yusuf Majid.
Left arm spinner has bowled very well in this comp.
Did have a little look at your game the other day on the telly box. Here's Petman to bowl to him. He's pushed that back to the bowler.
Action as well reminds me slightly for Petman again of a very, very fine bowler in Tim Munton.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of that in him.
Yeah, you can see that. He's 4 for 37, his figures now. A couple of balls left in this over.
Very good from Toby Petman, this.
Got a catch as well, didn't he? That was also nicely taken. Got rid of Cameron Steele. He's in bowls to Majid. Can't get it away. The Surrey number 11. Getting the nod, I guess, over Amar Verdi.
Yep, for this one. Yeah, and I think Amar Verdi, wonderful spinner. He's had a tough old season, though. He cannot break into that Surrey Championship side because they keep winning. And it's very it's difficult to get into a Championship side when they keep winning. And Will Jacks has been bowling the spin very well.
Petman, squad number 15, bowls. And Majid is away. Just opens the face, dabs it down there to Singh. And that's the end of Petman's 9th over, 171 for 9. Surrey. Single taken by Majid, so he'll keep strike.
I suppose Petman here, there'll be half a thought in his head that he's hoping that Singh doesn't finish it in this over, because he's still got an over to go and he's sat on a 4 for. But I'm sure even if it does finish this over, he'll be absolutely delighted with the way today's gone. He picked up the first 2, Geddes and Steele. And Hutton with 3, and then Patterson White with 1, Singh with 1, and the 4 for Petman. So very good all-round bowling performance from Nottinghamshire.
Yeah, it's another one that's quite a way down the queue when you start thinking about the Championship side.
I think all you can do is when you get a game, you make an impact.
Yeah.
I think that's all you can do, really, and he's done that in this one.
Just say, I think both Derbyshire and Kent were quite impressed with him when he had loan spells with them earlier in the season.
Well, it's going to be Singh to bowl to his fellow left-arm spinner, Yusuf Majid. Slip is in there. And Singh comes round the wicket to Majid, and Majid's chipping this one into the leg side. He'll get a single. Everyone here will be important in the context of this. 172 for 9. And Matthew Dunn finally gets onto strike. Hasn't seen a ball as yet. Matthew Dunn, the most experienced in terms of age in this Surrey lineup. Matthew Dunn. Singh is into him and Dunn's forward. Nice looking defensive shot from Matt Dunn. Plays it down into the leg side, and there is no run.
It's another one who's been round a long time, hasn't he? Disappeared from the first team picture for a year or two.
Well, injuries have absolutely hampered him. As Dunn drives down through backward point, he'll get a single here, will Matt Dunn. So he's off the mark. He's still only 30, and he's a very fit man. I know that sounds an ironic thing to say when he's been injured a lot, but he keeps himself very, very fit. He's just been unlucky with injury now. If he can just get a run of not being injured, he's still got a huge amount to offer. He really has. He could play for Ireland as well. That's the other thing. As this one, Majid just turns off his hip into the leg side. I don't think, obviously hasn't decided on any of that, but there is a chance for him if he can keep himself out in the middle. Around the wicket again goes Singh, and Majid is cutting nicely away for a single again out there to the sweeper on the cover boundary rope. So with Laws and Kimber together, that was 168 for 6, and now all of a sudden it's 174 for 9.
Put on 17 in 13 overs and 4 balls.
Singh's in again to Dunn, nicely tucked away off his hip by Matt Dunn. Petman comes up to do the fielding, and he may get another go here, Petman. He will indeed, because that's the end of the over from Singh. So Petman has an opportunity of a 5 for hit, and the end of the over, 38 done, and Surrey are 175 for 9.
Yes, apart from Fateh Singh's wicket when he bowled Nick Kimber, the other 8 have all been caught somewhere or other. A couple of catches to Schardendorf. Montgomery and James both taken slip catches. Petman one down at third man. Liam Patterson wider caught and bowled. Montgomery at backward point, and Brett Hutton at wide-ish mid-off. So here is Petman, 175 for 9. 12 overs to go. This is his last over. Bowls now to Majid, just happy to defend. See him off. See him off.
The only thing I would say about our tent is always a slight concern when 5 tent pegs are still sat on the desk in front of us. So I'm not quite sure where they're meant to have gone. But what I do like, lovely feature, are these sort of weighted down bits for the legs. So 2 sort of hard bits of plastic weighting the legs down.
It's Petman. In bowls, Majid drives. He might get a boundary here, he will. Straight down the ground. There's a dive from Lyndon James, but in vain. Couldn't get close enough to the ball, despite throwing his huge frame at it. Just has he momentarily winded himself, or is he just disappointed?
I think
he's not going to beat the count to 10, is he? He's up.
No.
He's up now. Nice shot from the left-hander.
Well, Matthew Dunn does have some shots in his locker, but that was a beautiful punch straight down the ground for 4.
Patman's figures dragged into the 40s. Responds with one that dies on Schardendorf, takes it before it reaches him. 178 for 9.
And that innings that Matt Dunn played against Warwickshire almost got Surrey over the line. 34 from 19 balls with 2 4s and 2 6s, but then Liam Norwell bowled him with the first ball of the last over, and that was a tied game of cricket.
There's Petman. He's in, bowls to Dunn, who defends. Producer Kirsty says nobody's ever given so much praise to my gazebo before, she says.
Oh, is this producer Kirsty's gazebo next door? It's an absolute belter. It's got so many functions, so much space. It does the job, doesn't it, Mr. Bracegirdle?
It's a wonder we've not got advertising logo on the outside.
Well, there's a number I've sat under that have blown away over the years.
Yeah.
First gust of wind.
Here's Petman, bowls, and a sliced shot from Dunn gets him into double figures, out onto the offside. Patterson White doing the fielding, moves on to 10.
I remember going to Cresselly Cricket Club with Mr. Edward Bevan when Surrey and Glamorgan for some reason decided to have a game there. And it was in the middle of a farmyard, because at one point the game got halted because the farmer let his cows out and they walked straight across the outfield. But we started on air and we had a gazebo, and as we started the wind went out and it blew into the field behind us.
There's Petman into Majib down the leg side. That's a wide, and that's spoilt it, because I was going to get Mark Church to give you, in his best darts commentator's voice, the score.
181
yeah,
now.
I'm going to say he can't now, because with that leg side wide.
But yeah, that was an extraordinary day at the farmyard. But that gazebo took off and ended up about 100 yards behind us in another field.
We had a similar experience on our one and only trip to the Isle of Wight a couple of years ago, pushing to the offside, nicely nicely picked up by Budinger. Notts went there to play Hampshire a couple of years ago, and we had a BBC. There's 4 for 44. Just stopped talking there because I could hear he was going to give Toby Petman's figures out in full, and although we're a little way away and slightly muffled with the headphones on, pretty sure it's 4 for 44 for Toby Petman. He's going to walk out towards the spectators here to our right. Is he going to doff his cap, or indeed is he going to wave 20 of them? Yeah, go on, Tobe, go on.
Well done, lad.
He did. Good stuff, and well done to everybody that's applauded him, because he's had a good day. A youngster making his way in the game.
Here is Liam Patterson White back into the attack, coming left arm round the wicket to Matthew Dunn. It's the 40th over. Turns that one into the leg side. He's got a couple up his sleeve, Mr. Patterson White. My mum's asked me, can I get a photo of the gazebo? Because she's thinking about getting one for the back garden. Honestly. Yes, Mum, of course I will. I'll bring it back with me this evening. It's a very nice, as I say, very nice gazebo. Yes, very nice gazebo.
Sorry, Kirsty, you've just lost your gazebo.
Yeah. Well, no, I wouldn't do that, but I would definitely take a photo of it. As round the wicket goes Patterson White. Oh, shout for LBW given. And Matt Dunn has gone, looking to drive, thumped him on the pad. And Surrey are all out for 181 in the 40th over. And that's something of a recovery, really, because at one point they were 36 for 5. The standout innings being that of Tom Laws, the standout bowler being Toby Petman with 4 for 44. So it'll be 182 for Nottinghamshire to win.
Yes, you'd imagine they'll be absolutely delighted with their efforts here. They're just congregating together. We'll just shut up in a moment if there's a prolonged round of applause for the players as they leave the field. Two Surrey batters head off first, but that's a pretty decent job done there by Notts. That's concluded their efforts with the ball for the group stages of the Royal London One Day Cup. Dane Patterson just lobbing his ball to umpire Harris. In fact, he'd gone and fetched it after that LBW at the end. In fact, the coaching staffs are coming out already. There will be the half an hour between innings. Seba Mead's actually leaving them off, leading Notts off. He's had a very, very good time of it in the Royal London One Day Cup, skippering aside at senior level for the first time. Sorry, we're in disarray, I think it's fair to say, from an early stage before the end of the 6th over. They were 14 for 3 with Ben Geddes gone for 2 and Cameron Steele for 6, both to Toby Petman, and Ryan Patel out to Brett Hutton. So 14 for 3. It was 31 for 4 when Josh Blake fell caught behind to Brett Hutton. The same combination accounted for Sheridan Gubbs, 36 for 5. Nico Reifer made an attractive 18 before proffering up a return catch to Liam Patterson-White, 91 for 6. Patterson-White's 100th wicket for Nottingham. Tom Laws held innings together with 75. He was 7th out after a stand of 77 with Kimber, caught by Montgomery at backward point off Petman. Kimber bowled by Singh, pushing one through for 34. McCurr out for 2, and Dunn, last man out, LBW for 9. 182 then is the Notts target. We'll share with the players in enjoying a little comfort break over the next 20-25 minutes or so, but when the players return to the middle, myself and Mr. Church will also return, and hopefully we'll still be connected to bring you commentary for the second half of this one. Surrey bowled out for 181. Notts will require 182 to win. Well, hello everybody, welcome back to Welbeck with the mid-match interval having just been concluded. The umpires are already out there and the players are following on behind. So Middlesex bowled out for 181 inside 40 overs, then require 182 to win. From what we see here, actually, your hand off had they been offered a target, but there was plenty of the bowl early on. At any stage, not particularly easy. There was one decent partnership between Outlaws and Nick Devon. So the order wickets all fell cheaply. 181 up then for West to Breton, and 4 wickets to Tope and Breton. So something similar. And to get us at our end, looks like Matt Dunn and looks like Mark Church.
It is Matt Dunn, it is me, and it's Ben Slater on strike as well. So 182 then for Notts to win. And Matt Dunn with the first delivery over the wicket to the left-handed Slater. There you go, straight away on a length, bit of nip, bit of carry, bit of bounce, and taken to Josh Blake away to his left-hand side. And what we saw from Notts is they used the new ball very well, and I think that's what Surrey will have to do here. They need to knock it out a few over early, Surrey, because 182 probably isn't enough.
That's when the doubts come in, isn't it? If you're chasing something like this and lose 3 or 4 within the first 10 overs or so.
Good-looking batting lineup that Nottinghamshire have. As Dunn is into Slater. Slater drives, thickish edge. That's going to whistle off. Man, Yusuf Majid is down there. First run for one without loss on Nottinghamshire, but that'll be good with the ball today. Mr. Brace was saying career best sport, and it could be worse for Surrey actually. Tom Laws had chances to go, one drop by Hamid, a stumping opportunity, still batted very well for 75. But injury for his first delivery, drives handsomely for 4. So this is the way he plays. If it's there, he's going to hit it, and it's slightly over pitched by Matthew Dunn and just drilled through the covers and away for 4. Nice start for him, and Nottinghamshire 5 without loss.
Yeah, likes to give it a wallop. He's got into double figures every innings. 89 against Gloucestershire, his top score. 62 not out from 29 balls against Somerset, and then he's had either side of that a 10, 25, a 35, a 23 and a 26.
Dunn is in over the wicket, and forward he comes this time. Just turns it into the leg side. Will take a single up towards Ben Geddes, stood up there at mid-on. And Nottinghamshire moving to 6 without loss in this first over.
Slater similarly, Buddinger's top score 89, Slater's 90, Budinger one other 50, 62 not out, Slater's 50 not out. So they've complemented each other. They've almost matched each other run for run throughout the competition. Both hard-hitting left-handers. You'd say Budinger goes at it a little more than Ben.
In over the wicket again comes Dunn. Slater is beaten. It's good delivery from Matthew Dunn to finish off the. Oh no, it's still a ball to go. His first over. The Nottinghamshire opening pair I always remember. Well, there's a couple there, and they sort of surround Alex Hales really, obviously, but Lum was outstanding, and then Mr. Vessels as well. It's pretty good.
I thought you were going to go back to Broad and Robinson.
Oh, Broad and Robinson, because of course Tim Robinson was my schoolboy hero.
He's here today.
Yes, I know. I've never plucked up the courage to say hello. As in over the wicket comes Dunn to Slater. Slater's forward and pushes this one out into the offside. That rolls out there to Cameron Steele at cover. End of the first over, 6 off it. So Nottinghamshire up and running, 6 without loss in pursuit of 182. Yes, well, Tim Robinson, genuinely, I've got a scrapbook of all his innings and photos from when I was a kid. I've mentioned it so many times, but the 85 Ashes series was, you know, when I really fell in love with Tim Robinson. Then he went to the West Indies. Oh dear, Brace. And as they all did, they unleashed Patrick Patterson on an unsuspecting England batting lineup. And but wonderful player, Tim Robinson.
Yeah, he's on the ground. He's the referee's assessor. Have to get you with him for a photo later on if he's still around. Tom Laws is going to bowl the second over of the innings.
I'm 48 years old, Brace. Doesn't need a 48-year-old telling him that you were my schoolboy hero, Mr. Robinson.
It's Laws bowling to Budinger, who's cut the first one down safely along the ground, down to third man, takes a single, rotate the strike, on to 7. don't know what happened to Radio Nottingham at 2 o'clock, but either way, let's hope one or two technical issues we had during the Surrey innings are behind us. We've just about managed to get our tin and a bit of string to hold on until this time of the
very late.
The bowl, good old Lord, lively, right on balls. Darren about him, maybe just having a little hang there and a Silton by Slater on the side.
It's all very simple. It was. I think the modern way of saying it is very repeatable action. That's what they seem to say.
Was there a little bit of a Darren got there? We'll have a look again.
Absolutely, especially the approach.
Yeah, there's Buddinger back on strike. Bowles, whoop! He's thrown the kitchen sink at that. Gets nowhere near it as it goes through to wicket-keeper Blake. Had a right old flash at that one.
He's certainly given that everything, hasn't he?
No prizes for getting them in 10 or 12 or 15 over. I guess there are the net run rate, but that's not going to affect Notts today. Still a little bit of hope for Nottinghamshire with regard to making future progress, as Buddinger has a fiddle at that one. They have got to win this. I think what they will have said, I'm sure, is you've just got to look after what you can look after. What do they say? Control the controllables. All you can do is try and win your own game, and if things happen elsewhere, well, so be it. But I don't think they're going to get any help from Durham, who are 163 for 9 with 5 overs left. Of course, our game well advanced of all the others. As Buddinger again has a slash at this one. Is that 3 in a row he's missed? So Durham 163 for 9 at Grace Road against Leicestershire. At Hove, Sussex 306 for 2 after 43 against Middlesex. And at Edgbaston, Somerset 256 for 4 with 2 overs left. So for the first time in the campaign, Somerset have put runs on the board. See if they can defend it. Do Notts a favour, but Notts have got to do themselves a favour first. It's not going to be easy as Buddinger digs this out, and that's a very good start from Tom Laws, who's had a good game all round so far. Single from the first ball, and then 5 dots. It's 8 with Outlaws from 2. Stupidly, Mark, I'm sat here, and 6 feet behind me on a chair is a cup of tea.
Off you go.
So I'm just going to get it.
Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure then that Mr. Bajara's probably made runs again there for Sussex. He's had a remarkable campaign, and I said earlier, I think it's wonderful that a player like him wants to captain Sussex in this competition with a young team and sort of lead from the front as well, with everything he's achieved in the game. Brilliant. As Matthew Dunn is coming in over the wicket to Slater, and Slater works this one into the leg side. Good tumbling stop by Ben Geddes up there at a wideish mid-on, and there's no run.
Just to confirm what you were saying, Tom Alsop 142 not out, Cheteshwar Pujara 126 not out. Might be 3 he's got in the competition.
Yeah, he got 175 against. Yeah, Eskenazi's. Well, he broke a world record. Didn't
that was against Notts.
Yeah, was it? I wasn't quite sure. I just saw world record.
Yeah.
As in over the wicket comes Dunn to Slater, driving, beats the edge. Good bowling again from Matthew Dunn. Just stood it up off a length.
I think it was the fact that others have done 3 centuries in a row in List A cricket, but nobody had scored as many runs in those 3 innings as
Well, he got 100
Eskenazi.
Against Surrey. He got 180 odd. He looked like, I'll be honest with you, he did look like Ryan Patel and Steve Eskenazi in that game looked like they were batting on a different pitch to everybody else in the game.
Well, he got one at Grantham, Robson got one at the other end, and then Hamid came out and got one for Notts. I had my pads on.
As in over the wicket comes Dunn. Forward goes Slater, just opens the face, guides this one down towards third man. We'll take a single, and that will move Slater on to 3, and Surrey moving on to 9 without loss.
It's only a week ago, and I can't believe it because you couldn't see any green. It was scorched from one side of the ground to the other, all the way, absolutely scorched. And the batters dipped their toes in, so to speak. Why
not, eh? Fill your boots. Over the wicket, they're to it, and it's hit Madam's hand, got to Kimber up a single bit of a ball on. Nick
Dunn was trying to deliberately deflect it away from it on off there with sort of back deflection, and took it wide of the...
Same with us in third, as Dint, Slater off his hip, tucks this one into the leg, comes Sharon Gums to do the fielding, and he backwards square, whipped into Josh, basically built around a very fine innings of C5 from Tom Laws, Nick Kimber with 55, and Nico Reifer made 16 3 at one stage for a 36 for 5 in the 12th over with the ball nipping around, and good bowling from Beckman. And he's in over the wicket to Buddinger. He's forward and turns it to side. We'll get it up towards Ben. He has a shy at the stumps, and they'll get a single. And that'll be the end of it. Over. Matthew Dunn, 3 gone. Solid start. Nottinghamshire in 82 for big 3 gone there to Outlaws.
Yep, fine start. Looking to take there. There's an opportunity for Buddinger to throw these over it. Sometimes, sometimes he doesn't. But he'll play that. Strike now. It's going to Laws again. Tidy Stovemores, just a single. Let's see. I see near the end of Buddinger. Should be caught at mid-on. And over him! Oh my word. Buddinger's got away with one there. Brilliant. And he's got a bit of a life. It's Ben getting back from mid-on. Oh, Tom Laws on his head. Can't believe it. Got a gut of wood and swirled his head. Seemed to position himself nicely underneath it. Buddinger went hard at it. Went straight in the air, but always dropping towards mid. Next one slashed away. Fell through the offside. Yeah, that was picked up by Laws.
Yeah, I had money on Bings there. He's a terrific fielder. He really is hitting.
Yeah.
I think it may have got a gust of wind. We're hearing it in our wonderful gazebo, but I had just a wind that just.
Law. 6 runs from 2 balls. Buddinger drives into the offside. That's a kind of bounce up for Cameron Steele to field.
Had a couple of moments at the end, haven't we? He was one to son. And obviously, Captain Ben Gadget. They say he's playing a shot at the ball. He really is.
Always does it to 14 whilst it lasts. Raised into the field, and this just slight hole. Coming out in the offside. Laws, Buddinger, with it off his hip. Win the leg side. It's his 15th outlaw in the 3rd over. In the 4th over, I beg your 4th over. Didn't win that dog.
Son now. Time
of age, and he wanted to buy the boat. On God's way, till before to this more expensive over for top of the wicket. It's gone for what, 11 now.
I'm two men who were telling about the Britain.
Yes.
From Bridge to here. They passed the ground. That was interesting.
It's coming close to Newark on the Thursday. Home through to the keeper, and that's the end of the 4-0. Not so 23 without a silver victory. 1-8-2. 15 to Buddinger, and 8 to Ben Slater. Yeah, the problem is they come through Nottinghamshire and indeed go past my little sort of home village on what would be the 4th day of Notts versus Leicester at Trent Bridge. So if that could be done and dusted in 3 days, I'd appreciate it.
How you'll have to reroute, will you? Well, you might have to park nearby or cycle. You could join the race brace. That'd be unbelievable. Just getting to the finish, and there's Brace Girdle whizzing along on his chopper.
It's Emerson who's the liker.
Yes, absolutely is. Here is Matthew Dunn, and he's coming into Buddinger. He's got a leading edge, looping into the offside. It wasn't too far away from Cameron Steele, but they'll get a single.
What do they call them? Mammals, middle-aged man in
Lycra. Yeah. I'm not sure. I love Martin Emerson dearly, but the thought of getting stuck behind him in Lycra. Oh, dear, no, thank you.
Tom Alsop is 150 not out for Sussex.
It's a big old score.
And they all got 200 not out for them the other day.
Yeah. 24 without loss. As Matthew Dunn comes in over the wicket to Slater, and Slater's up on his toes. That's a nice shot. Just punches it away through the covers. Off goes Nico Reifer in hot pursuit. I'll pick up a couple here.
Is it the sort of thing that Surrey supporters would enjoy, out and then missing out on the last day?
I don't
know. Are they your kid?
I think everyone's very sensible. That's it. You could handle say I should be there or thereabouts, and they played some very good cricket. If you get that top spot, that makes life a lot easier. Buddinger has a big old drive at this. Slater, apologies, outside his off stump. That was more of a Buddinger shot, actually.
They've got
taken by Blake away to his left.
They've got 3 Test batters in the top 4 in Stoneman, Robson, and Peter Milan, and the one of the top 4 isn't a Test player. Scored 4 centuries. Yeah, Eskenazi.
Well, personally, with Mr. Johnson in charge and Mark Stoneman at the top of the order, I'm delighted for them.
Yeah.
But the way the competition works, of course, is in over the wicket goes Dunn to Slater, who's driving thick edge, but it flies away past Nico Reifer and whistles off to the boundary rope for 4. Healthy edge on that from Slater, and he moves on to 14. And Nottinghamshire just trying to knock the belly of it out of this very early on, 30 without loss. But yeah, because of course the top from each group go directly into the semi-final, don't they? And then 2 plays 3 and 2 plays 3, and 2 from memory gets a home draw in the playoffs. Yeah. So that's this weekend, I think.
Yeah.
As over the wicket once again comes Matt Dunn, and Slater again has a right old go at this one off a length. It beats the outside edge, and Matthew Dunn sort of stands there. What do I have to do? Down to do a touch of guard.
Yeah.
Oh, your cakes arrived. Oh,
Thank you, Brendan.
there you go. Brendan's brought some cake for Dave Bracegirdle.
Oh,
Well done.
wicked
Well done.
shit,
Well done. Well done. Is that from the tent? Oh, the wicket once again gets one. Slater. There's no run. Matt Luter's a fan now. End of the 5 gone. Nottinghamshire are 30 with Outlaws.
So you've sent them at Lucas.
No. I put a tweet saying that if Matt Lucas ever needs a sidekick for the at British Bake Off, I'm keen to give some hard-hitting insight into cakes.
Well, would you?
And he liked it.
Yeah. Would you not have wanted to go round the rest of them? You Mary Berries, wouldn't
Just building. I think he did one at a cricket round.
Hurry up.
Junior. Yeah, he does. Junior off.
Is that the whole level? As long as comes in, bam down the ground for 4. That was dismissive from Bollinger, really, wasn't it? Came back at him almost twice as fast as it went down. Absolutely sat down the ground for 4.
It's Nottinghamshire. When you've got this still need to try and smash the hell out of it in the first 10, then you take all the.
Laws again. The knots. This one is slammed away leg side. It's away to the back. It's a one bounce, fielded by. I'll have to get the binoculars there because I don't know if Chris Moore is here. I'm sure if Chris Moore would come and said hello, but it's been thrown back by somebody who stood up in the knots green and from this distance, and we are a long way away. If you listen, Chris, it don't belong. Too many people that look like it. No, it's not Smalley. You've got a shout, but it's not you.
I think that gentleman's thrown it straight in the crowd in front of him.
To be honest, it did look like that.
There it is.
But it.
I think he lobbed it back straight in sort of 10 rows of seats in front of him.
He's wearing green shirts the players are wearing. 40 Outlaws can 6 of the day. First in Nottinghamshire now eases this into the offside, won't get a run. Fielded by Ryan Patel. Be an early dart down the motor. One way or the other. Knots might to round 3 before they're confirmed that this are done with. Just saying they will. Contrast the start right now. Non-plays. Was it 35? Next ball. Heaved. That's a bigger one. Crikey. Not sure when I saw it land on the bank. Very close to where this one did. Don't let the Chris Molly look back. Let somebody else have a go. Did you see it land?
I did straight to the.
Yep, it did.
So got that. It's not a bad delivery. That's all from Tom Laws. Length delivery, and Buddinger's just thrown his bottom hand into it and swung it straight into the bank for the second 6.
It's like he's been told it is the entertainment industry, Sol, so entertain them.
Well, he's certainly doing that.
Yeah,
I like this attitude. He might not come off every time, but if he does, and the thing here is if you've got a fella like this and he does come off, takes all the pressure off everybody else.
Well, they sped Notts to victory at Taunton, 62 not out from 29 balls, and Anthony Gibson, as stauncher and understandably so Somerset supporter as you can ever wish to see, has Laws in, and he's hit this one into the offside, no run, and he said towards the end, it's a real old shame this is just finishing as quickly as it is. I was quite enjoying young Master Buddinger, or words to that effect.
Well, they're some great shots already. I mean, he's obviously a very strong man, but that was a lovely pickup.
Well, it felt nice, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Because the previous 6 was short and he just pulled it away, but that one he's taken off the length.
There's Laws, might be his last over. Next one, he's hit into the leg side, might get a wicket, he has got a wicket! And Laws gives him a send-off as well. Sol Buddinger goes. Once again, it was breezy, it was brick. Lasted, but he's out for 2. And Skippers Day at nearly 6 for 1.
That's what I like Tom Laws. Yeah. He's always in the game. And a couple of words there to Buddinger, which is fine, because he's just been almost in his... That's saying Tom Laws, he's in the game. And I enjoyed that Buddinger, but sort of cut off in his prime, the touch there. But he's got Nottinghamshire off to a flyer. 46 for 1 in the 6th over. As a player when I was younger, Dave Bracegirdle, who could play a forward defence and sort of just about get it off the square, to be able to go out and do that must be a hell of a lot of fun, mustn't it?
As I say, well, I felt really nice to hit those 2 6s. Here is Lyndon James then. Don't think you're going to see him trying to crash bang wallop 1 or 2 into the bank. Technically correct. Having a really, really good year in red ball, which is 150 against Middlesex. Durham. Terrific. I was going to say prospect. He's not a prospect, he's a terrific player. He's there now, he's doing it now. But what a career he's going to have. That's 3.
Good catch from Ben Geddes as well.
Yeah.
Had to judge that, because he didn't get hold of it at all. He swung everything at it, as he did in the previous delivery, but it just sort of went off the toe end of his bat. Had to dive forward to take it. Here's Matt Dunn, start of the 7th. Slater on strike, and back of a length delivery that Slater's getting in behind, playing it out into the offside, and there's no run. But even that 32's done some damage. Out in the 6th over, 32 out of 46, and it just gets Notts moving. It really does. But Good from Tom Laws. Okay, there may have been 16 off the over, but he has picked his man up. Done once again. Right on the left hand, Slater comes up, pushes all into offside. He's up quickly to the third. We had a cry of no there as well from either Seaton or James. Slater moves off towards square leg. I think he continues to blow across the ground. Here at Welbeck, got a view of the in the distance. All the woods and trees and cars and electricity pylons. In comes that straight on him a touch. Cut and Cameron Steele's to do the thing. And there with extra cover. Bang. In the go. They're in this Nazis. Slinging a couple of balls in the back. Our left hand side. A little sit on the back. Yes. Behind the gazebo during interval. It was to this. Oh, the wicket can stop tucking. It's slight another straight to Donald. Short line. So 105 by Nottingham.
That's when he changes the collection.
If we're sort of that so-called nooker here at the moment. Patterson Jones has launching balls. Racing. And Slater that looks like might be the thing that's on it. Really a little bit there. Ben Slater. That's taken by keeper Blake. Moving neatly and tidily to his right hand side. And there is Ryan Patel encouraging from mid wicket. Waits again does Slater. Matthew Dunn. Over the wicket he comes to Slater, and Slater gets all the counts again for that solidity in behind deal. Did that Slater with having got, he's sort of to playing a little more conservatively. Again, the last when Budger was on strike, sort of just fallen into playing at the here is
This gives us some progress in this competition, because Somerset today 266 for 5 from their 50 overs. Lewis Goldsworthy made 111, James Rue 96. So the Bears at home should get 267, but you never know. Sussex, they're still batting. They're in the 47th over, 353 for 4, 150 odd not out for Allsop, 132 out now for Pujara. Durham made 197 in the end against Leicestershire, so that was better than it looked at one stage. Here's Laws into Lyndon James. He's way off the mark with a really elegant cut. Just to the backward of point, flashed away for a boundary.
Lovely shot. Lovely shot.
That will take knots. Yep, there it is. Comes onto the board now. 51. 51 for 1. Nice looking shot. 2 slips in. This is the 8th over, so still only 2 fielders allowed outside the circle. And Lyndon James will notice this into the onside. Out to, is that Sheridan Gums doing the fielding?
Indeed. It's funny, isn't it? You see certain players, 2 balls, and you immediately think Lyndon James, yeah, can bat. All right, it was short and it was wide, but it was the way he put it away. And yeah, it looks, after 2 deliveries, looks a very good player. It really does. There's just certain players that immediately catch the eye, aren't there?
Slater back on strike. Patel comes out of the slip cord and driven to backward point, fielded by Gums again. Yes, he's played all the games. In fact, no, he missed the second county championship game of the season, but all the others coming in at number 5. He is an all-rounder, but he hasn't bowled since May. A bit of a side twinge, which they're a little concerned about. Slater pulls this away side. Slightly alters the balance of the side. Bowl last year it was very much 4th season. Stephen Laney, skipper, was less seen. He's had to bowl an awful lot more in the championship than he did last year. Maybe get sorted out with Liz Withers, so he can be back as a proper all-rounder. On to get one would wicket, at least couple here as Gums for the 3rd time in the last half a dozen deliveries has to do the fielding in front of the pavilion. Way to our right. James on to 7, 55 for 1.
From a distance, it looks again like Nottinghamshire have played some really good championship cricket this season. Looking at the squad, and very, very consistent. Never easy in Division 2.
Comes Laws, long strides, bowls. James happy behind it. Back to the bowler who fires it down into the glove of his keeper at the far end. 55 for 1. Lots require 124.
How's the great?
He's away. He's one of many away. False origin.
Oh, one of the greats. There may even be a a door somewhere named after him. What a great man Mr. Fletcher is.
This is Luke Fletcher we're talking about.
Another book coming out of Fletcher stories, the Fletcher Diaries. Sequel to.
I'm preoccupied.
Of course you are. You're busy to write their books for them. As here is Matt Dunn coming into Slater, who's driving up and over the top of Cameron Steele at cover. And that will whistle off to the boundary rope for 4. It's nicely played by Slater. He moves on to 19. And Nottinghamshire moving on to 59 for 1. Looks like Conor McCurr's getting warmed up at first slip. He's possibly been the pick of the Surrey seamers in this competition this season. Of course, this Surrey's last game this summer in the Royal London One Day Cup. As over the wicket once again comes Dunn to Slater, who's in behind a short ball. Plays it back up the pitch. Geddes does the fielding. Stood up there at mid-on and there's no run. Wanders off towards square leg. Does Ben Slater. Lyndon James down there at the non-striker's end on 7. Pullinger, the man to have gone for a quick fire, 32. Caught by Ben Geddes off the bowling of Tom Laws. Had taken 16 off the over from Tom Laws and then was out to the last ball of the over. As in comes Dunn to Slater, and Slater turns this one off his hip. Goes sprinting back for short fine. Lobs into the gloves of Blake. And Cyril move on to 20. And Nottinghamshire taking 122 from here. And with enough over already. Thomas is marching down Birdman. A good day. Thomas 75 with the bats. Picked up that first win. Let's watch from him. Very good player. Then just running from length. And James wanders off towards. Think about everyone could mind. I went for walk. More space. Looking up Ferguson on. Done his again to James right. Done this at all. Just rolled up lowly towards Kimber. Stood up there at middle and there's no run. The sort of catering area is a way to cake paint. Lots of very happy looking.
I think Barca going to run trade as well.
Nice take red.
Yeah. Nice fan as well behind us.
Yep, saw that. There was a big cue for that. Matthew Dunn once more comes in over the wicket to Lyndon James. Short ball cut for 4. Again, lovely looking shot from Lyndon James. Just a little short from Matthew Dunn, and James is a tall lad, isn't he?
Yeah.
He just stands up, uses all that height and cracks it at the top of the down. 4, 9 gone, 64. I'll just give you an idea. After 8, but after 8 through with 22, and after 8, 4 and 4 one off. That's the difference. Getting some dinner, Cameron into the attack.
Off his.
Yeah, it's very good. He's pretty well in this competition this season, actually. His figures. He's picked up wickets. He's better than bowling legs than you can be, aren't you?
Yeah. So we're bowling to off a couple of paces. First ball. Nice. Watch onto the face of bats. Behind square on the offside. Kimber's fielding. No run. Slater on 20. Sort of left in the wake of Buddinger a little bit in that opening partnership, but he's played this nicely through the offside. He manages to penetrate the ring on the offside, and they'll come back for a couple of runs. Who was that throwing himself to the floor?
Ryan Patel, I think it was. Or was it Ben Geddes? I think it was actually the captain
Skippers,
diving away there, and Sheridan Gums went off. He started with 2 googlies here, Cameron Steele. That was well played by Slater because he just waited for it and then just popped it away through the covers.
66 for 1. BBC Radio Nottingham, BBC Radio London. Short down the leg side, taken nicely by Blake, but Shaughnessy, the umpire, stretches his arm out, just trying to get the scorers to see him. I think their viewers perhaps masked for a second. They're in that brick score box behind us. On Dale Fields off his own hand bowling. Little score box at Grantham. Brick 1, the water 67-1. Deal to it. Get his managed to be Soldier. Spears again to keep his gloves.
Terrific scoreboard here as well. Really good board.
Nice and clean. Pad of Slate was short. He worked it off his hip. Now gets another run to move on to 23. 68 for 1.
Interesting start this. I'll be interested to see what he bowls here to Lyndon James, because he's bowled predominantly googlies to the left-hander. Just try and get that ball to go away with it.
That's the throw ball to James. That one does turn away. James, good wicket. Off of just at the end of the power play. 68 for 1. It was good thinking by Ben Geddes and Surrey there, just to pop the spinner on for the 10th over, because sides often like to try and end the power play on a bit of a high. Let's see what we can score before the extra fielders are pushed out, but Notts weren't tempted.
Yes, and we're going to get Conor McCurr coming into the attack to replace Matthew Dunn. So Cameron Steele replacing Tom Laws with a tidy first over, and now it's Conor McCurr, who, as I say, has been probably the pick of the quicker men in this competition for Surrey this season. Well, some lovely spells, he really has, Conor McCurr. And one particular spell, I'm just refreshing my mind, 3 for 38 against Middlesex at Radcliffe was outstanding. Here he is with us, Howard Sheridan Gums, out back square, but 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And competition season for Conor McCurr.
Remember in a championship in your bowling, hitting Craig Waite on the helmet, who was in a short loan spell, not so a short spell at the end of the season. Brad.
Driving, that goes past his edge.
I think consecutive overs, not sure which way Michael hit him, Conor McCurr hit him. Them to counter cricket it. And he said, "Tell me, I've never been hit on the helmet before, and twice in the same inning, just a few minutes."
Well, he sort of got rushed into the last championship game, Conor McCurr. Morrow went in the warm-up and had a good game as over the wicket he comes to James. James is forward, that's nicely played, just opens the face and guides it off down to Tom Laws at third man. They'll pick up another single, one more to the total. On to 12, 70 for 1, Nottinghamshire.
No standout really for 47 in this competition. Had a 35 as well, 1910 and 7. Was coming in up until Saturday at in the order though, so there wasn't too much left for him.
McCurr is in Slater, and Slater's turning this one on into the leg side. That's going to roll in towards Ryan Patel. What number does he bat?
5.
I should know that.
5, yeah.
It's 5.
Duckett 3, Clark 4, 5.
It's a good looking batting line, that. Really is. Ben Duckett making his 100 for the Lions as well.
Yeah.
Good to see him back. England reckon probably better player now than when he last played, I've thought. As the shortened run, Conor McCurr is in to Slater, who drives uppishly, but then a whistle away past Nico Reifer, just to the left of Reifer, and that's flown off to the boundary rope for 4 runs. Slater will move on to 28, and Nottinghamshire moving on to 74 for 1. It's a little bit of width on that from Conor McCurr, and driven away by Slater. Sun's out again, so very pleasant here at Welbeck at the moment. Sort of the sun's been intermittent throughout the day, but when it does come out, very pleasant it is. Conor McCurr's in once more, and forward goes Slater. That's an even better looking shot. It won't actually go for 4, this one. He's just lent on that. It's gone straight out to the sweeper on the cover boundary rope. So again, good over for Nottinghamshire, just keeping this scoreboard ticking around, trying to do all of this with the minimum of fuss, really. 11 overs gone, chasing 182, and Nottinghamshire are 175 for 1.
Not sure why it's taking Middlesex so long to bowl their overs at Hove. Maybe they've had a stoppage, don't
Lost
know.
balls.
But, yeah, well, maybe. But they're going to require at least 400 because with 1 ball left in the innings, Sussex are 399 for 4. Tom Alsop 189 not out. Pujara 132. In fact, that is it. They obviously got a single from the last ball, so 400 for 4. Sussex have posted against Middlesex, and it may just be that Middlesex might need that, or they might be slipping out of the competition. We'll have to see. Here's Steele. Tosses this up nice and high. Slater got into a good position just to open his body up, force it into the offside, out to Sheridan Gums, and a couple of runs are taken. 77 for 1.
I can't remember who I was with the other day, but I was saying something about 450 over cricket and da-da-da-da-da-da, and they said, don't forget you saw Surrey get 498.
Yeah.
And I often forget that.
Is that the Ali Brown game?
Yeah.
Against Glamorgan?
Gloucestershire it was,
right.
that one, where Brown and Benning went nuts.
Next delivery on its way, and pushed out in front of him by Slater.
Yeah, and I was saying last week, Seabourne, that because we're playing Gloucestershire, it came up in conversation there. The first over of that was a maiden, so they actually did it in 49.
Steele. Short, cut away again by Slater. Gums this time will be able to quickly get to the ball and keep them to 1. throw in on the bounce. The umpires don't mind that, long as it bounces in only once. It's if you bound in to 2 times a little bit sediment. It's back on the right. 1. So there he is. Past the outside edge through to the keeper, and there's some oohs and ahs. That must have been close to the off stump. Unusually loose looking shot from Lyndon James.
I wonder whether that might have been the inside. That was the googly again. Looking most to go inside out there, wasn't it? Nice bit of bowling.
Still once more. Bowls and similar. Through to the keeper again. He whips off just in case.
One was definitely the leg, wasn't it? Beat the outside edge.
Bowling this from Aaron Still. Only with Durham.
Bit of them, yeah. He's a very fine cricketer, Aaron Still.
8-1. Short play by James. The bowler read through the 2 previous deliveries, but then Donaldson dropped it short, pulled away. Knots require exact 100. Suit of 182 there. 2 for 1.
Yeah, that's the problem with legs, isn't it?
Yeah.
Bowled 2 and then drop 1. And then James just jumped. As long as it in tap, 100 quiet off 38 over for Nottingham, so they're in a terrific position here. And Conor it will be 13th over. Later, the man strike on 32. Almost down to double figures quite now. Nottinghamshire is McCurr is in Slater, short all the way by Slater. That's all Sheridan Gum, quite down to 9. So in double figures, 3 for 1. We didn't get a bit of that actually, Ben Slater. Sheridan Gum
been brought into play, wouldn't it?
Out there at the back square, definitely. As the clock on the screen coming up for 10 to 3 on the old Roman numerals. Back onto strike comes the right hand. Right, beats the outside edge by Blake, moving away right hand side. A couple open it. Lyndon James. 2 against Cameron Seal. That one against Conor McCurr. A little skewed at the moment.
They've had the pizza.
And yes, they have. They'll be nodding off soon, I would have thought. It's that time of the afternoon, isn't it? After a big lunch, as McCurr is over the wicket once again to James. Boy, well, that takes off.
Yeah.
That Lyndon James. Just back of a length. And he was shaping up to cut that. And it roared back at him and bounced. And he's just having a look at the pitch at the moment, is Lyndon James.
Is he a grunter? Matt Dunn thought I heard a bit of a grunt there as he released it, a bit like Brett Hutton.
Yeah, I think so now and again. There are some if you ball. Waiting again, Lyndon James. Very tall at the crease with that bat raised. McCurr's into him. He's just opening the face, guiding this one down towards Tom Laws in front of us at third man. Now pick up a single. That will move Nottinghamshire on to 84 for 1. Another 98 runs required. The wind's got up.
Yeah.
It really has, blowing bits of paper and my notebook. And of course we had the early tea spillage due to the wind. But all of a sudden there's a gust or 2 of the stronger stuff. As over the wicket goes Conor McCurr to Slater. Again it bounces and climbs on Slater. As a bit of a nibble on this. That really did slap into the gloves of keeper Blake. Up above his left shoulder. It's nicely bowled by Conor McCurr. Just worrying about the gazebo taking off. But all the pins are in. And there are these magnificent sort of plastic concrete weights at the bottom of each pole. As over the wicket again is McCurr. Slater's forward, pushes this one into the offside. Nico Reifer gets one to do the fielding. Got one more, end of the 13. And Nottinghamshire 5 for the target 1-2.
Kirsty House, let's win.
Oh, is it? Is this what it's used for?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, I've sent a photo to my mum. She thought it looked lovely, she said.
It is.
Yes.
It is. It's doing the job today, isn't it? Doing the job. Now then, Steele to continue. Who haven't we seen then? We've not seen Yusuf Majid.
Not as yet. Nope. Probably see a bit of Nick Kimber. Yeah. Might see a little bit of Ryan Patel as well.
Just need as the skipper to have a hunch, go with your gut feeling, find the right combination and just somehow force your way back into it as blocks this one. Start of a newer from Steele. He's on 34.
Well, I shouldn't think he'll leave it too long until Yusuf Majid comes into the attack, because he's had a good tournament as Yusuf Majid.
Steele tosses it up again. Slater opens the face a little bit, steers it to point. Ben Geddes doing the fielding. Just joining us, Notts won the toss at about 10:30. Stuck Surrey in Toby Petman playing his second match for the county, got the first 2 wickets and finished with 4 for 44. Slater hit on the pad here as he thrusts, being a left-hander, thrusts his right leg towards the pitch of the ball. 4 wickets for Toby Petman, his first 4 wickets for Nottinghamshire. 3 wickets for Brett Hutton, so he's taken 10 in his last 2 matches. And the spinners shared the rest. This one's cut away into the offside. Fielded by Geddes, no run. 2 wickets for Patterson White today and 1 to Fatty Singh. Tom Laws, the top scorer for Surrey with 75. Little bit of a long distance loving going on here between Mark Church and Matt Dunn. On the boundary edge in front of us. Little bit of a wave and a smile. Hi Mark.
I haven't taken any photos, unlike you.
Next ball is again eliciting a LBW appeal, but Slater a long way down.
Yeah, nicely bowled again though by Cameron Steele. Good control this from Steele at the moment.
Bang, magnet and steel.
Yes indeed.
Where's squad number 44? It is good control, and again Slater can't get him away. End of the over. 85 for 1. 3 overs now for Cameron Steele. Matt Dunn rushing down to the far end. Is he going to keep... no, he's not out of attack, isn't he? McCurr has bowled a covers. Looks as if McCurr is going to continue.
Leading over that from Cameron Steele, which amongst sort of what was going on before is a very good effort. And a nice controlled over of leg spin. A couple of half shouts for WW. So 97 more required by Nottinghamshire. It's going to be Conor McCurr, as Mr. Bracegirdle was saying, to bowl the 15th over. Lyndon James will be the man on strike. As over the wicket goes McCurr to James. James drives. That's a lovely looking shot. On the up, through the covers. It's a bit of James Vince about that.
Yeah.
And that whistles away for 4 runs. And he's on to 21, 89 for 1.
Yes, the James Vince cover drive.
Lyndon absolute way for 4 runs. 93 more needed by Nottinghamshire. We're only in the 15th over, so they're very much in control of all of this at the moment as Conor McCurr is in again to James. James just guides this one down towards third man despite a dive from Nico Reifer. Can't get to that, so they'll pick up another single. Lyndon James moves on to 22 and Nottinghamshire move on to 9 for 1.
So sorry, this one got a nice long break.
12th September. Next game in the Championship. Started to play the first round.
Fortnight taste,
He says 2 weeks time. So bit of a break. As Conor McCurr comes into Slater, who's cutting down towards third man.
It's longer than that, isn't it?
It's 3 weeks, I think.
Yeah.
There's a single for Slater. And I'll be interested to see what Surrey do, because they'll want to get... They're not playing. When we start again, they first round off. But they'll want to get some sort of championship practice in. So they go about that, because it's been a while since anyone championship cricket, of course. Fascinating. 4 weeks out in September. You know, Conor McCurr, Lyndon James, this one down to back. And there is no rival. Super. It's not like in the football, isn't it? They always say along those lines. So, Nottinghamshire at Hampton, Yorkshire at home, and then Lancashire at Old Trafford. Last class there. But there's got a point to the top at the moment.
Right.
Here comes Conor McCurr, and Lyndon James handsomely in, does the footing in the cover, and there's no run. It seems like such a long time ago that we were playing championship.
Yeah.
It seems like a completely new season in September. It really does. So,
and then that'll be it.
That'll be it.
Bleak winter months will be on us.
I'll tell you nice it normally is, isn't it? With the south. Conor McCurr's in again. And this one's turned into the leg side by Lyndon James. End of the over. 15 gone then. And Nottinghamshire here on BBC Radio Nottingham and BBC Radio London. Very much in control of this. 91 for 1 they are. Chasing 182 for victory after dismissing Surrey for 181 in the 40th over.
Oh, there we are. I'd forgotten all about that. You're now eligible for your next flu vaccination.
Oh, there you go.
Hang on now. Then is this flu? That flu? That's not the old.
No. That's your flu.
That's your flu.
Yeah. What's that? It's on now.
Clinics on the 17th and 4th of the 24th of September. Please contact report old man Deal and the next of Still to Slater. Eases it into the yet down to move to 6. 92 for 1.
Yeah, this season's absolutely whistle.
Yeah.
You're a believer at the back end of all now. And cold after, I remember.
That's not your room just yet, not fans. Let's just for 1 after 1 nice in my name. He'll shout at Russell baby for this. Oh, he's never for the licorice room. 2 out, because he's one that's just circled career. Off leading to in the country as Steele floats there. Lynn such a tall man, 6'5" or thereabouts, so he can just lean forward to loss and pin it down the ground.
We miss Cigar. Bermuda Triangle, never playing for England. I would have thought it's more than mysteries.
Lions cleared, didn't usually the next step comes to the leg side for Silver. Strike a bit. Did the wicket go down at 46? 500 feet further.
Very quietly.
Yeah, but he had a bit of a scale in nearly fence, but Nottinghamshire Mr. Lyndon James drops the ball down the leg side. Takes up. Sometimes say, the cat can put all field onto the boundary. It doesn't necessarily mean that you should do, because it does leave gaps, doesn't it, for a lowish total. If you've got a couple in who are just looking to rotate the strike. I know you want to save the boundary, but they can hurt you ways. Keep taking singles, tossed up, and Slater times cloths it to the 5-1. It ends in BBC Radio.
And ching it around and opening it very nicely. And Slater, the odd boundary in it, but Dave Scudder was just sings as well. I don't think it can longer until Beckett reaches the G to the attack.
I want to leave you with it for a second. I think Nottingham have been out the 3 o'clock news as well. Not done any.
Maybe there's some big breaking news as Nottingham Forest sign someone. Here is Conor McCurr coming in over the wicket to Lyndon James, who drives a good length ball straight up the ground towards mid-off, and there is no run. 95 for 1 then. 17th over. Lyndon James wanders off towards square leg. Ben Slater's getting some running repairs to a piece of his equipment down there at the non-striker's end. Waits again does Lyndon James as Conor McCurr. Tom over the wicket arms. James is 4 plays very deliberate to left arm Laws. That's got through a first slip position. It's very not Lyndon James. Everything just sprang in and let it back. That's whisked into the boundary rope to our left, and 99 for 1. Lyndon James moves on to 28. Mr. Bracegirdle is back, having done some correspondence behind us. As Conor McCurr is in once more. Over the wicket to James. James forward again. Plays that on the top of the bounce. Down to Nico Reifer in there at back point, and there is no run. See, I think I'm right in saying those playoff games are this weekend, aren't they? Saturday, I think they are.
I don't know if it's Friday or Friday.
Is it Friday?
I might be wrong.
It's a bit of a wait for the semis.
No, I think
are they straight off the back, are they? What time in September?
5-7.
The wicket goes. Lyndon James is pulling off from first. Hasn't really got much. He will get a single. Out there into the wild blue. And still round to the field. 100 comes up. 17th, just to give you an idea, 100 come up in the third. And at that stage, Surrey were 6 down. That was 100 for 6. So that's the difference. 100 for 1. Nottinghamshire. Another 82 runs required by them. Slater, 36 not out. Stands with his bat raised, leaning forward as Conor McCurr is into him. And that's short, and that is hooked off his hip for 6. Whoa. That's a heck of a shot from Slater. Wow. Off his hip, Lara-esque that. And has just swung it onto the bank for 6. That's a lovely pick-up from Slater. Really is. He moves on to 43. It's 106 for 1. That's a great shot.
Yeah, both the what do we call them? The elimination playoffs, if you like, second versus thirds, are on Tuesday, and then are on Friday. I beg your pardon, and then the semi-finals are on Tuesday.
Okay, and then it's a wait till the 17th, isn't it? That's right. I seem to remember last year it all happened quite quickly. The whole thing.
Yeah, the final was on a Thursday at Trent Bridge.
Yeah, I did that. In over the wicket again. Curve forward. Go lefty to this one into the side. Over then. 7. Here. What's her name? I've been away there and moved back into the name.
So that's fine, because last year I had a lot of COVID pull-outs and players were going here, there, and everywhere. But I think if you're away for the entire duration of playing in the 100, I wouldn't like to see a side come back and just bolster their ranks with 7 or 8 players.
Absolutely, it makes a mockery of everything then, doesn't it? But that wouldn't surprise me.
Well, if it's a televised game on a Saturday.
Yep.
As Slater closing in on a half-century. Lyndon James run here and the throwers hit the stumps. Not going to be an overthrow. Got home. Lyndon James got home. Slater on to 44.
So, and we've seen Teddy make decisions.
Did already on a big he's on to 4. Yeah, 108.
Might want to win this on.
Well, Paddy, 50-run partnership mark. This one turns into the pads of Lyndon James. Notts have been coming here since 2015. That first year they began with a weekend of cricket here. The Welbeck Weekender. Next one's eased into the offside. They played Warwickshire on the Saturday, beat them by 9 wickets. Alex Hale's got a century for Notts. Dan Christian a 5-fer. But on the Sunday they only just started. They got about half an hour's cricket in against Glamorgan when the rains came. 109 for 1. Next delivery played into the offside by Slater, no run. 2016 Derbyshire were the visitors. Notts won by 65 runs. It was Ricky Vessels getting a century. 2017 they beat Leicestershire by 6 wickets, a low scoring game on a thoroughly miserable day. It was wet and windy and cold, it really was. 2018 Northants were the visitors as Steel bowls. Slater again slashes it into the offside for a single to go to 44, 110 for 1. Northants rattled up 339 for 9 and that ended Notts' unbeaten record on the ground. 2019 it was the turn of the county championship to visit Welbeck. We've already mentioned it, Hampshire were here. A full day's play on the first day, but then the rain set in, no play at all on days 2, 3 and 4. And in 2021 Somerset came last year, but again the rains came really on and it was alt. If I had 2, Notts beat Leicestershire by 49 runs. So in all 9 of the 18 counties with Surrey's visit today have played here.
What year was it when Sangakkara made that brilliant 100 against it? Was that 2015? Because that was a knockout game, wasn't it?
That score Surrey in this day cricket against is Kumar Sangakkara, 106 at the Oval, 2015.
Yeah, 2015. Extraordinary innings that, wasn't it? From Sangakkara. Now Yusuf Majid is into the attack. So here he is, the left arm spinner. Left arm round the wicket to Slater. First one's fired in outside the off stump. Slater lets it go. It's taken nicely by Blake behind the stumps. He's had a very good competition, Yusuf Majid. Left arm round the wicket, he comes once again, and this is cut by Slater, and that'll beat Reifer. I think what's happened there is that's hit the ground, spun away from Nico Reifer. Going to run away. It's found to Nico Reifer. Does the fielding.
For Notts, the best for Notts against Surrey. Richard Hadley at the Oval, 86, 5 for 17. Carlton Forbes and Bill Taylor have also taken 5-fers.
Around the wicket again comes Yusuf Majid, and this is nicely played again from Slater. This will bring up his 50, just opens the face, guides this off down towards third man. Back goes Nico Reifer to do the fielding. Lovely innings this from Ben Slater. 51 not out. He's looked more calm since Budinger was out.
Yeah.
He sort of got caught up in Budinger's slipstream when he was trying to whack every ball out the ground. Since then, he's just played very nicely, very calmly. 51 not out, 116 for 166 more required by Nottinghamshire. Suns come out again.
Round out 60 balls.
9. This one went to the side, a single. One more to the total.
60 balls, 5 fours.
That 6 was a lovely hit. Just picked it up, slowly leg side into the bank. Away, all right, the gate. All right, but I'm sure there's, unless, as I say, there was a shift. 100 round and trying to games. Used to be first over even off it, and cruising a touch at the moment. And Nottinghamshire, 19 overs have gone, and they're 117 for 166 more runs required.
Yeah.
Very business-like performance this from Nottinghamshire at the moment.
say 66, doesn't it?
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 65,
Yeah,
yes.
but he does say 66. Never mind.
Never mind.
Never mind.
I think they get there.
Never.
I don't think that one run's going to cause
never,
havoc at the back end of this run.
Sticking a good old bracket. His 6th bowls. Slater eases this into the offside. It's a single. Sheridan Gums loses his cap as he fields the ball in. Sent into one. Yeah, probably late. James and it to cover. Fielded by Bell. It's got 100. It's not not in dollars then. There's 1 or 2 out of the ground, or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, ending up in the garage over the road. This one's all the way down to Loughfield.
8 round lots of Nottinghamshire colours. He got a double 100 in one day against Gill.
Later, a lot of time just to play these shots. Surrey might need to do something different, either bring the field in or not sure what exactly, but just go on like this, just milking it for 3 or 4 singles and over. There's only going to be one outcome.
Yeah. I just wonder whether somebody like Ryan Patel might be worth a go. Nick Kimber sort of bowls quick. It can be a little wayward at times, but he's quick.
Here comes Steele. Lyndon James works it off his pads. No run there. So a couple of dots to finish the over. 120 for 1. Ben Slater has 54. Lyndon James has 32. Sol Budinger, the 1 wicket to fall for Notts. Same over in which he did a couple of sixes. He fell for 32 to Tom Laws. Good catch by the Surrey skipper, Ben Geddes.
It was a good catch. Had to dive forward to take it because it came straight off the toe end of Budinger's bat. It's going to be Yusuf Majid to bowl our 21st over. He'll be coming left arm round the wicket to the left-handed Slater. 62 more needed by Nottinghamshire as Yusuf Majid's in and runs here for Slater. Just stands up, punches it away out towards the sweeper on the cover boundary rope. So they'll pick up one more. 55 now for Slater. Back onto strike once more comes Lyndon James with 32 to his name. 121 for 1. Fields look amazing in the distance. Shadows of the trees now with the sun out as this one's tucked away by Lyndon James, and despairing dive from Nico Reifer at short fine, but actually poor old Nico Reifer there, it just took a divot and bounced straight over his hand. So it hit a bit of a ridge on the outfield and couldn't have gone any more perfectly straight over the top of his hand as he dived. And that's away for 4. And that takes Lyndon James on to 36 and Nottinghamshire moving on to 125 for 1. As Yusuf Majid's in once again. Lyndon James just a little late cut. Nicely played again. Down towards Tom Laws at short third.
I think if you're in the covers, you're almost on the balls of your feet, ready to react to go left or right. At short fine, I don't think you are you? And he really needed to readjust.
This one, Lyndon James just gets in behind from Yusuf Majid, nicely bowled. Lyndon James just pushes that one away into the offside. Yeah, you could see it perfectly from here. He sort of dived full length, right hand was out, and it hit a divot and went straight over the top of his right hand as Lyndon James forward once more, just plays this one back up the pitch. Yusuf Majid does the fielding off his own bowling.
Leicester should need 198 to beat Durham. They're 17 for 2.
Ooh.
Warwickshire need 267.
Lyndon James drives. We'll get a single down towards long off. Nice leisurely single that for Lyndon James. End of the over. 37 to James. 21 overs have gone. And Nottinghamshire ticking along very nicely in pursuit of their 182. They're 126 for 1.
Yeah, Warwickshire need 267 to beat Somerset and qualify for the knockout stages. They're 36 for 1. At Scarborough, Hampshire 313 for 9, Yorkshire 22 for 1. That's a match that could decide a couple of things. If Hampshire win, he will up the group. They will go through lose. They can miss the spot.
Just send Nick Kimber into the attack. Add as you get the pace.
Not sure what size feet he has, but
Big.
look like canoes from here,
Big.
don't they? He sets off. Is this my end?
Yes. Oh boy.
He's in and bowls to Lyndon James. First ball is guided down to third for a single to Lyndon James. I'd imagine, like I say, I should know your subject really. Not sure if he played for Notts Academy. I know his brother did, but I'm not sure if Nick did or not. But if he did, I guess he'd have come through it around about the same time as Lyndon James and Liam Patterson White. One or two more that are playing today. 127 for one. Long old run for Kimber, relative now. Made by Slate. Down third, fielded by Bond. Falling out with much urge because he was on the boundary rope here in the village and smiling and waving the mark and positive to the other end of the ground.
Well, probably to the creamy, I thought. It's chance to go to the other end.
Written me,
that long-haired idiot took out of time, walk back.
120 for one. 54 required. Next one down the leg side, reloaded. 53 required.
Yeah, Nick Kimber's the ingredients for being a hard all-rounder. You know, he can give it right on with the bat. We've seen that great in the field, and he can get the ball down there at good pace as well. Can be a little wayward at times with the ball, but yeah, he's had his moments in this tournament this season.
Plenty for the coaching staff to work on over the winter. Next delivery on its way and clipped firmly up to mid-on. There's no run, fielded by Ben Geddes. You'd imagine one or two more county cricketers will be heading abroad this winter. Obviously, the last couple of winters, pandemic across the globe, it's not been so easy for here, there and ever. An awful lot used to play Club Sun, Australia, New Zealand. It happened the last couple of years. Next ball pushed out onto the onside.
Well,
No
there's that amazing story in your book with Mr. Fletcher of him sort of wrapped up in bin liners doing circuits of a lake, wasn't it?
That's
I
right.
think. Oh, just to sweat off during the pre-season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was also I think in there whilst he was in Australia, hit by a firework on New Year's Eve. Oh.
It doesn't surprise you, really, does it?
Yes, you're one of the few that's read it.
Very good. Very, very good.
129 for one. Next delivery on its way, cut away by Lyndon James. Deceptive from our line of sight, in that it looked for all the world as if it was going to clatter over the ropes and either into the boards or maybe even hop up towards the spectators on that bank with the sat in the deck chairs, but it didn't. The fielder ran round and was able to return it. It was just a single.
Don't give too much away if you don't want to, but you're sort of waist deep in your next one at the moment, aren't you?
Yeah, I've got one very much on the go as this one's pulled away for four by Slater in front of square. It's at the end of the over, I think it is. Just wait for it to go on. Now, has it gone on or not? The board is showing 130 for one, and Slater on to 60. Yeah, back through the 80s and then into the early 90s in county cricket, there was a Barbados-born fast bowler by the name of Ricky Elcock, who, as I say, left Worcestershire, went to Middlesex, had such great success, was regarded as the quickest England qualified bowler around in county cricket, was selected for an England tour of the Caribbean, funnily enough, and was going to make his test debut in Barbados. Is Majid from the far end of the ground. This is pushed away and they'll get a single, and in the nets the day before his test debut at Kensington Oval, his back went. He had back problems throughout his career, but his back went, the stress fracture, and that was it, put him out of the game.
Well, they on that tour was when they took Devon Malcolm, Gladstone Small,
Phil de Freitas
and
Ricky
him.
Alcott.
Yeah.
It was bad he had to retire the game, and anyway, cut a long story short, although we'll be trying to make it fairly long, he became an airline pilot and became the first black airline pilot for Virgin Atlantic. as this is pushed into the offside. So it's just the story really of a county cricketer who should and would have gone on to play for England, who ended up flying on your holidays over the Atlantic, flying 747s and all sorts.
He was
wrong shape. It's the wrong shape. Next one steered away behind square for a single. We've got Dane Patterson in front of us with a rugby ball. It is the wrong. Oh, you're into all that, aren't you?
Yes, I like my rugby.
You like.
Yes. Bit
Say
of the old egg chasing.
Yeah, well, I shouldn't say the wrong shape because I like the old American football. And it's similar in shape. It's not exactly the same, is it, as Yusuf Majid bowls to Lyndon James. And, pushes it through the offside. So, yeah, I've been working with Ricky Elcock. Should be out in the spring. His autobiography.
It's his fault. It's his fault. It's Ricardo.
Yeah,
Ricardo.
Yeah,
That's how I remember Ricardo.
Stores in there. I hope you enjoy his balls and hit into the offside. In Barbados, to the school. I had to go in Barbados, so I had to pull buses in to get in, and then I had a 5-minute walk to get to the school. Back towards mid-on, but he dives across and stops it. End of the over. 7 for 1. Sparkling bright new school blazer, school uniform. Walked it a couple of days, and then one day a carpool, Combermere was the name, very famous school. They'll give you a lift, and of course grateful. Somebody pulled up at him, jumped in the car, and then he lost for the Minister of Barbados.
Wow.
So he reckoned.
Timber coming over the wicket. James Nico backward. He's going to sort of down 85 now. He's Lyndon James and Nottinghamshire with 141-1.
And throughout his school days, once or twice a week, as he was walking down that Minister of Barbados, would stop and say, "Again, Ricky." Got to school, we believe him, went home and told his mum, "We'll get thick here." I told him, "Get in the car with us."
Over the wicket once more comes Kimber. This low by Lyndon James. I think it's gone, isn't it? He was a great ball, and I remember that because that was after Alex first. They went hurt. There was a photo on Wisdom, and they were going to fire with fire, weren't they?
Yeah,
the Devon. I remember the Malcolm first, Gordon Rennie, and then Craig took. And comes Kimber. This one's driven straight back down the pitch. Lyndon James, Wayne Larkins up in the batting, with Graham Gooch, and England were going all right from Gooch's hand. I remember.
Most uncivilized.
It's amazing now that they're line pilot.
Yeah.
Line everybody on that.
That's it. 141.
Lyndon 45 not out. Nick Kimber ready once again. Right arm Lyndon James, and that's Austin James flashes his off stump, gets a thick edge, flies away down and so just 40 required now. Shit, 142 for 1. The strike comes Ben Slater on 60. Slater enjoying this, I think. It's a fairly inevitable result this at the moment, but I think nice out of it as Kimber over the wicket and a short and wide up by Slater. Sheridan comes round. Just pick up a single. That'll be one more to the toe. He's on 62 now. 141.
Yeah, less than 50 now. 49 required. After being massive dominant of the strike and the score by Bennett to 3 figures. It's 38.
Not 39 required. This is all.
Right.
It's if maths, but I think I'm right. Because this one turned off by Lyndon James out towards the backwards to pick up a single, and that'll be more to the total. And 44 for 4 overs on.
He's on his hand at 3 figures. 38 required. On 62. I crept up. 47. Disparaging. It says crept up there. He's made nicely. Very nice shot. To you in the championship. He'll be out then. He's mark only 20. And seemingly have let you clap his 50. It's
a very elegant player. Mr. Bracelet, would I be able to this? I've
much
got
so.
a ball of nature.
Very much so. Too much inflation, is that outside? I've just got his call. 144. 14 specific. 62. Lead. 2 or 3 pace. Cuts away left our wicket. All Slater cuts it to point. 35 for 2. He's in 198 to beat Durham. It's again worked to point by 7 for 1 in the 13th. He's in 267 to beat Middlesex. 20 for 1 before. He's in 101 to beat this. I don't think those results go and in this 145 third a row. Slater's tap straight to bad point. No run. When he broke the sequence here, G. They just side played with soft hands, so they do take this 146 1 elsewhere into 20 for 2. That's a century partnership, by the way. There between Ben Slater and James 48 on the partnership. First of the match, push it back to the bowler. So this is all but broken. The back of good opportunity to go take a 46 for 1 is a score. Right.
They've done this very well, haven't they? Not Slater just played very nicely. Lyndon James, very elegant player.
Yeah, just 100 partnership.
And I think the music there from 56 going to be very 81 would never be enough. And it's down very nicely. But as you say, once they get there, they need to see whether or not they've got themselves.
If anything drops away or not. A little tear up. We'll have to see. no strain to score big runs. Sam North, 177 to Morgan. Root to Nottinghamshire. Anyway, he's 130 out at the end of Morgan innings. He made 6th against Worcester. That in the other group. Some country.
Well, they've been throughout the competition, haven't they? Points in the competition, I think. 80s as well. So there's been some terrific books and got one beginning, and then I think there's been one there from memory. And very, very individual performances in this.
Also 180 odd today.
Very. So Nick Kimber can now the 26th over, just the third wide. Nottinghamshire now. The left-handed Slater will be the man on strike in 3 years. Kimber is into him, short, and Slater's after this. Almost to the back there.
That's what we're saying. Cricket. I'll bring the wicket.
My dad would tell me if I took my little sleeve to ruffle my blood. When I was little, I used to be where made runs, and I started my looks, took it off. And I took my rib as over the Westmore comes Kimber, and Slater chips in the air down towards mid-on. Tom Laws comes round to do the fielding. Just looks like Mr. Slater has lost a little bit of concentration after that drinks break. He just had a big cut at the first one and has almost chipped the second one straight up to mid-on. So just needs to sort of what he was doing before the drinks break.
It's the Hope kills it. 39 for 3.
Misses in over the wicket comes in, but short this time for 4. Oh no, Sheridan getting in out. Yeah. That'll be a single. One more to 64, go to 147 for 1.
The initial's a boundary, but the box strip on pick out all the spectators in the pavilion.
Different jets away there with the pavilion.
Should give them the stewards.
Another Tabar, Frescent Tabar.
One.
Is that's just drifting to the paddling, James. He pucks down towards final. Another one more to the total. 108 134 more required Nottinghamshire. Parker comes have rumbled over the grid. 20 to 4 Tuesday afternoon up here in Welbeck of the group stages. As over the wicket comes Kimber. Slater drives a nice shot, but should get round. Let's get round. Just also take over this. That 2 of it. It's justified by Nottinghamshire, and the atmosphere is a little subdued now. One side sort of dominates from a slightly subdued atmosphere. Slater waits again. Kimber's into it. Slater drives, and that good see for a back pull. Just flung himself to his left and got a hand to it. Otherwise, 24. I don't think he comes wood to that one. In the 26th one, 148 for 1.
Yes, very good start from it. All you can do really is just not help for them. Just maintain cleans, ball your line length. Just opportunity created, opportunity taken, but only 34 more wide. Looks a bit of a lot. Sorry, we'll get back into there. Don't think any two respective line been forced out for this competition. This one's wide to the offside. Lyndon James, not 50. Well batted. Lyndon James, first half century this year competition. In a knock. Sure, his mum and dad hear some. They very rarely miss any of his matches. He's played very nicely indeed. There was a little bit of a feeling that he was being wasted at 6 in the early matches in this competition. Teeter on 4 on strike. Which he's over. That'll be the 150.
Yeah, they can just obviously just with this in single. They could do about 10 and they're still right.
Yeah. Indeed, far end is Anthony Harris, past left shoulder, pop away again. Up to Sheridan Gums. Very neat. Oh, I see. He's thrown it 4. That was one of those. Got a bit of a ball, so he probably had it in his hand and as he to throw the ball in. Not nicely sold in bomb. It escaped and ran over the rope. So there from goal. We're hoping Amra wasn't him. This one goes to the. There's been 2 people say it's a bit not easy in plus conditions. Middle of North Nottinghamshire here. Terrific job done by production to nicely the camera crew around the ground. Job there. There's Mead again. Next one's into the offside. Fielded by end of the over. One which saw Lyndon James get 50 and 1 to 54.
Yeah, no, it's been a good performance this from Nottinghamshire today. It really has. As I said, they sort of dominated from 1 in many ways. And it's been a performance. But the thing I've liked about earlier in this competition, it's young have never given when they're being around the field, giving it everything. Kimber coming in over the wicket to Ben Slater. That's way exciting. This will be 4 wides. Got no chance of getting to that. And you can see actually hitting the green there. It's sort of because of, you had a bit of this in Radley. I don't know whether you've seen this, but Radley, all the batters on the ball just flies off in the wood and wherever else edges. That one is straight up into the green for 4. 9 for 1. Skid again comes Kimber and Slater's gone down through Reifer. It's never easy to field, but just still there for Ben Slater. On to 6 the 22 more runs required by Nottinghamshire, and then they're going to have to wait to see what happens in all the other games because we're away here today.
Well, Middlesex 34 after 6 chasing 400 to give you some idea.
Kimber over to James. James just clipped this out straight into her at short mid. Gets a horrible bounce. McCurr on that right. There's no, I think McCurr, but got a horrible bounce in front of it. Just took it off and whacked his right thumb, I think.
Middlesex collapse. That one's not going to be finished for 3 hours.
Long away. They won't just sit there.
I don't know.
They might head home and find out. Over the wicket again comes. But all that. Lyndon James straight down Sheridan Gums' throw to the square. So put away. Lyndon James, elegant fashion, but Sheridan Gums beat back James. But that's been a lovely into 54. And Kimber gets the wicket with the catch. Kimber with the ball. 54. Lyndon James broken, but they've done the work here. 60 for 2 and 20.
Yeah, with 114. Coming up in about 17 over between Lyndon James and Ben Slater. And the skipper's on his way out to the middle. Way might be fitted if given the tournament if he's there at the end. 60 for 2. 22 required. Kimber.
Yeah, that was nice.
And nice for Sheridan Gums in a sense, in that earlier in the over he'd
had that horrible moment.
He'd thrown one into the crowd for 4.
But lovely innings from Lyndon James. Did play some gorgeous shots. He really did. On the up through the covers. But yeah, as I say, I think what's been impressive from this young Surrey side is in every single game, even if they've been on the wrong side of it, they haven't just given it up. They've stuck in there as much as they can. But you just sometimes have to say the opposition have played better, and that is the thing today with Nottinghamshire. So Hamid is out there, the captain. Right hand, of course. Different things.
She lost a second with Dominic Sibb. 60 for 2, chasing 2-6.
So Kim getting ready to bowl the first delivery at Nottinghamshire captain. Hamid stands leaning for the wicket. And his foot just turns around a touch. Little leg side-ish. It's away out towards Remember. No. Across to X cover and Rhyme down from there. Slip now. Hamid as well. 20 quite plenty of overs together. But Hamid only just comes to the crease. Remember, didn't know the wicket too, and Hamid forward to the leg side, quick single to get marker towards Ben Geddes. Hamid to 1, Nottinghamshire moving on to 161 for 2.
Leicestershire 44 for 4. Cool. You'd say right now, Notts have got hopes.
Yeah, 100%.
Durham 197, Leicestershire 44. What's could do with Durham? They perhaps, well, certainly Sussex do, but Sussex got 400 for 4, Middles for 2. There's Kim all 2 later. He defends this one. Kim's gone to the ground, not a bowler then, and increasingly more.
Do not fret, old boy. So what Nottinghamshire, just to reiterate, is for Sussex to beat Middlesex.
They win this and a 2 of 3. They need Middlesex on that Durham to obviously win today, both 0.
So Durham in a position.
Sussex in a better position for 400.
It's beyond rounds ability, that's what we're saying here.
From 197, 44 for 4, but Vian Mulder is degrees.
Right, he's been very good for Leicestershire.
5 again, not lost all the wicket at the other end Saturday. Did continue, not 21. Which is 16 for 2, decent 2-7. One is cut into the offside. Steve Mead pulling a tally from 1 to 2. Slater back on back, no required. Yes, you go before Ali.
The M1.
Foul, it was short of a length, maybe pace taken off it. Flogs Slater left his crease. I think he was going to do a bit of float out on the leg side.
After my 6 hours trying to get to Guildford, anything's possible now. From Miles. Sit down.
Ball short, Slater's win all playing nicely. Ben Slater moves on to 17 required. The Notts 5 and 3.
You know me, I left early 6:30 and I real 12:30. That was when 5 4 hours. Didn't go any had to get started.
Next ball is eased away by Mead. It's a decent saving stop. The skipper, take a run nonetheless. Not the skipper.
Cameron still like that was. And then the next day, he goes to Northumberland. I bought, I think, and they got cancelled. So then I ended up driving anyway.
Round the wicket comes Majid. Slater taps it into the onside in the air out. Sheridan Gums, who knees the ball forward as he slides to stop it. 165 for 2.
I even broke into the BBC Surrey travel update to tell them what was going on the M25.
Steve Mead happy to just help this out onto the onside end of another over. 165. Notts need 18. Nicely done this by Ben Slater, who's been in good touch throughout the summer.
Oh, he's played very nicely here. Very interesting, though. I think he got caught injured when he was saying shots just stood into playing very nice calm innings.
It was, the power overs as well. Let's just try and give Liverpool pressure on the new ball. Let's try and take Surrey down early on.
Kimber to come in over the wicket to Slater. Slater's forward and plays this one straight back up the pitch. And there is no run, but yet Lyndon James played very, very nicely. Toby Petman will be there over the moon, I would have thought. 4 for 44 today.
Yeah, it was, as they say, a good toss to win, I think. It was tricky early on for Surrey's top order against Petman and particularly Brett Hutton. Petman ended up with the 4 wickets, but of course Brett's been in magnificent form. 7 on the Saturday, 3 wickets today.
Here is Kimber, and that is driven handsomely by Sharon Gums. It's always this stage when you could drop. That's a lovely just single from Slow. He moves on to 69, 1-6 for 2 now.
It's a decent size bearers, wasn't it? Or 3.
One not related. Let's get them forward into the mid-kit region. That picked up by Camston away to Landley. But yes, I think you're right. Also, the corner was absolutely key. It sort of went out there and had a look at pictures. This could do it early, and it did. Sure, all credit. The full advantage of the conditions is provided this morning. As over the wicket once, and this is turned neatly and tidily into the legs. This is the only one because the Sheridan just put the up straight.